We are live. Welcome back to BRAP, everyone, on this beautiful Wednesday evening. We have a lot of gaming news to talk about, and we have a returning guest, gentleman who probably doesn't need introduction. You probably recognize him by looking at his avatar. We have the man of the million, Rand Thor 19. Rand, what is up? Welcome back to BRAP. So it's been way too long.
Yeah, did you go back and look to see how long it's been?
It's probably been like 3 years.
It's been a long time, but it's exciting to be on the show with you. We got some news to talk about, and finally, me and One Bad Mother, coming together. I've always wanted to, he's in a Discord I'm in.
Oh, okay, cool.
He's incredibly smart, but this is the first time I've gotten to speak with him. So, and I don't know where the hell Slow-Mo and Forte are. They're just
I don't either.
I mean, come on. You're doing a podcast. Either. You say you're going to be there. You got to be there on time. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, Forte. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know how much it costs to pay a YouTube millionaire to say something like that about you? Thanks, Rand. I really appreciate that, man.
OBM, you're very insightful. I will say that. But on that note, and I'm assuming that Forte and Slow-Mo will be joining us shortly. By the way, Eric Jackson and B Money are out this evening. Big shout out to those two individuals. But assuming it's Slow-Mo and Gaming Forte will be here soon. On that note, let's officially go ahead and get the show started right now. Speaking of Slow-Mo, he has arrived.
Yo, what up? What up? What's
the man of many backslaps. What's up, Slow-Mo?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. It's been a pretty wild day. Sorry, I'm a little late, but hey, I'm here, so that's all that matters, right?
We're happy to have you here. Rand was actually wondering why you and Forte were MIA, and was kind of giving us the business. Rand's on borrowed time. Was like, Brett, what's going on here? I thought you guys started at 9 o'clock. It's 9:12.
He's not telling you the truth. I never said those things.
No, he didn't. No, Rand did not say those things. But
I didn't think that sounded like Rand, so I wasn't believing the tomfoolery, Enrique. So it's all good.
Yes, that's great. But welcome everyone to another episode of Basement Radio Game Podcast. Everyone in the live chat, please hit that like button. If you're new, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. And please, if you haven't done so, retweet the notification. Again, we're going to have a great show. We have a great show planned tonight. We have a couple topics we're going to discuss. Microsoft dropping the Xbox Live brand. We're going to talk about Discord, maybe being purchased by Microsoft for $10 billion. And also want to say happy birthday to Bloodborne, which turns 6 years old today, which, in my opinion, is probably... out of the Bloodborne Souls games I played, I'd say it's probably number 1 on my list.
Number one?
I would say number 1. What do you say there, Rand? What say you, sir?
Bloodborne, number 2 for me.
Okay.
But it's definitely close to 1. It would be 1 if I hadn't played the true number 1. But if that's a topic, we'll unveil that later.
All right.
Yeah, that is a topic which we'll get here shortly. But want to make a quick introduction to the panel. So we got my man Slow-Mo in the house. We got Rand Thor, who's it's been, I think Rand's been probably like 2 or 3 years, man. It's been a long time since you've been on BRAP. But we're excited to have you back. Like, we did DPS. We reconnected. I said, Rand, why don't you come on BRAP in 2 weeks? She said, all right, I'm there.
Thanks to Slow-Mo and Forte,
Yeah.
Who Forte forgot my invite that day.
I remember that.
When the Bethesda stuff goes down, I'll invite you. And I'm like, sure. And I'm sitting there waiting for my invite, and he just forgot.
I knew Rand was going to bring that up. Don't ever let it go.
I would never let it ever.
On his deathbed, as he's like eking out his last breath. So I want you to just bend over and be like,
no,
I remember when you forgot.
Ray, were you the live chat? Were you the live chat and had to like remind him, or did you have to DM? I don't remember.
I DM'd him. I'm like, yo, where's my invite? Like, my ego's hurt. I'm crying here. Like, you promised,
Yeah. Well, he'll be here soon. Just remind him when he pops in again. Well, that we got OBM, One Bad Mother, somebody who I've known. Maybe people don't know this. I've known him for oh my god, like forever. It feels like, but it's always great to have you, OBM. Super insightful. No, he's not an insider. He's just insightful. What's up, OBM?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on the show again today. I had
Absolutely.
my bowl of Chipotle and a nap, so I'm powered up and ready to go for the show. And I was just thinking as you guys were talking, because Rand, you said it's been 3 years since you've connected with Enrique. Was the last time you guys were together? I swear it was like right after E3 2017 or something, when everybody in the Xbox community was like ready to throw their Xboxes out the window. But were you on the show together at that time, or am I misremembering that?
Maybe I don't remember, man.
I tend to remember Rand being on like before an E3.
Okay,
yeah, I think so. I think he was on before E3.
Was it last year's E3? I feel like it was last year's E3.
No,
it wasn't. No,
it's
probably maybe the year before.
Oh, okay. So it's been since then. I was just, for some reason, there was a conversation that came to mind, and I just thought it was interesting how like back then we were like wondering what was going on, and then it's like every couple weeks now we're talking about another multi-billion-dollar purchase. So how things have changed.
Yeah, how things have changed, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But I do want to I want to go back to Bloodborne here, because it is happy birthday day to Bloodborne. Turned 6 years old. Released this date actually. March 24th, 2015. I can't believe it's been 6 years, by the way. Like holy shit. And I ranked this my top game. Under Rand, you said that it's number 2 for you.
Mm-hmm.
So what's number 1? Out of all the Souls games, what's number 1 for you?
Sekiro is easily the best FromSoftware game.
Mm.
And Bloodborne, I wouldn't even say Bloodborne's a close second. Like, really? To me, Sekiro is so far beyond any of the other games that they've released that's clearly number 1 for me. Bloodborne's really good. I'm not necessarily a fan of Dark Souls. Like, I played Dark Souls 1, don't like it. I played Demon Souls with Luca, and that was enjoyable mainly because like I had a great time playing with Luca.
Yeah.
Not my style of game. Like, I think it's because Sekiro speaks more to me because it's much more action focused. It's much more there's not so much waiting and seeing what your opponent's doing. It's all about like quick reactions. Like, you need to get in there and be aggressive. Yes. Otherwise you'll get beat. And I really enjoyed the pairing system that they employed. It honestly made you feel like a badass when you got the combat down of going into a fight and just attacking and then repelling their attack with the quick timing of the left button to parry them and then kill them. Like, to me, that was so much more engaging and fun to play than the slower paced Dark Souls games. Although Bloodborne was a little bit like faster paced, than the previous one. So yeah, Bloodborne for me is 2, but Sekiro is number 1. By a lot.
Yeah, no, I could see that. Like, I was struggling a little bit when at the start of the show, when I was kind of like, well, Bloodborne, and then because Sekiro, like you're right, like Sekiro is probably, I think from a technical standpoint, probably their best game. The pairing system is just out of this world. It forces you to engage, where the other games like you could just kind of sit back. You really couldn't do that in Bloodborne so much, but like the Souls games, you could do that. You could just kind of roll your way out, just kind of sit there a little bit. You can't do that in Sekiro. The game punishes you for playing with that kind of play style. But to me, where I give Bloodborne the edge, I just think this story's a little bit better than Sekiro. Like, the lore of Bloodborne's like I spent, I don't want to say hours. I spent a significant time like just reading about it, and reading about the church and the college. I forget the name of the church and college, whatever it's called. But big shout out to my man T-Rock 40, by the way, the $5 super chat. Says hashtag Bloodborne, hashtag platinum. Actually, T-Rock helped me get the platinum, so thank you again, sir. I don't care what Slow-mo
carried you.
No, I don't. Look, let me tell you, the game can be played in co-op, sir.
You gave T-Rock lower back pain. He's got that L.
Let me tell you something.
L5 disc.
He said L5. Out of whack. let me just say something real quick here, Slow-mo. You cannot face the last boss battle. co-op. You got to be, and that's that's really not a hard boss battle. To be honest with you.
So, question for T-Rock: Can you help Enrique when he plays B Money in NBA 2K?
No, he can't.
I don't think there's going to be any saving him. I don't think there's any support that's going to be able to help him if Enrique finally plays him, which I don't think he ever will. I'm gonna just put that out there.
That is
Enrique is ducking. You are ducking him.
I'm not ducking.
The way Roy Jones used to duck Bernard Hopkins back in the day.
Roy Jones, hey, real talk, he did duck Bernard Hopkins a lot.
Oh man, he ducked Bernard Hopkins until Bernard was like what 50 years old.
Yeah,
and he was
I'll fight you. Bernard, you're 55, but let's do that dream fight. Yeah, okay. No, I am not ducking. Don't listen to Slow Mo. Everyone in the live chat, don't listen to Slow Mo or Forte. I am not ducking B Money. Yeah, I'm just I'm engaged. Like Dark Souls 3 has its hooks in me. I'm playing a little Warzone with Mooch today. I'm just there's other stuff.
Didn't you say that you were going to platinum a Souls game and then you were going to play B Money and then you went on to just go to another Souls game?
I said I was going to platinum a Souls game. Bloodborne is not Souls. It's Bloodborne.
It's Souls-ish, sir. No. We not.
I didn't say Dark Souls, Demon Souls.
This is what ducking looks like. It's hey,
no.
Ooh, I got some things to do. I gotta watch paint dry. I gotta do something, but besides actually playing B Money. It is what it is.
All right. Rand, what's your most memorable boss battle out of Bloodborne?
Out of Bloodborne, I really enjoyed the Father Giscone, the Father G battle.
Yeah, Father G. Yeah, Father Giscone, I think it's pronounced.
Yeah, I forget how to say it, but Father G was pretty cool.
Father G was cool.
Trying to think of some of the other boss fights. There was I don't know the name of this, but there was one where it was like a big, huge, white creature kind of thing.
What's his name? Begins with the letter P.
Where's Luca when you need the name?
T-Rock. T-Rock's in live chat. T-Rock, who's the white? It's not a main boss. It's like a side boss.
Oh, okay.
Pearl.
I forget the name of it.
He kind of electrocutes you.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, there's the cleric beast, obviously the optional one that you run into.
Vicar Amelia.
Vicar Amelia.
Maybe it is Vicar Amelia.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the main boss, I believe.
I think the boss I had the most trouble with in the game was the one that was in a church that poisoned you.
Yes, that's the one.
That's Bloodstarved Beast. Yeah, that one's a pain in the ass.
I was rolling through New Game Plus until I got to that, and then I'm like,
me too.
I better go play some other games now.
No, OBM. I was New Game Plus and fought him. It was like up to that point, it was rolling through the game. I had Ludwig's Holy Blade, and I had the broadsword version of it. I was just smashing people with it. It wasn't even fair. And then I got to Bloodstar Beast. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that sucks. That's the one that stuck out to me. And that's probably the interesting thing. Like a lot of people say Bloodborne, but Bloodborne seemed to have the least flaws for me out of all those games. But it also, the bosses just weren't as memorable as some of the ones in Sekiro or even Dark Souls. So that's where it kind of loses to both those series.
Interesting. Yeah.
I mean, it's still really good. It's still a really good game. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, when I was New Game Plusing it gets really addictive to kind of just keep firing away through it. But and the overall game design is really good. But for me, I think I'm biased because my first ever experience with any of the FromSoftware games ever, I skipped out Otogi or whatever, and I missed
Otogi,
out. Yeah, I missed out Dark Souls on the 360. I never played Demon Souls. I came to it with Dark Souls 3. So to me, it opened me up to a whole genre. And so I think I'm always going to be a little bit biased because of that. But I do like the fact that in Dark Souls, it's a little bit more dynamic. Like you can, different builds really matter. And, there's more ways to kind of approach battle. So I always tend to lean towards dynamic gameplay, or sandboxy gameplay over all other things outside of a really balanced challenge, which Sekiro was. I do. It's like as Rand was talking about.
Game kicked my ass.
Yeah, I keep thinking it's like, man, it makes me want to change my answer because I think at one point when I was playing Sekiro, I'm like, this is like the GOAT of the generation for me. But It was a little bit more straightforward, but at the same time, there's nothing else in any like genre or generation of consoles that plays like Sekiro that I can think of.
No, there isn't.
So that's really, I think, where that game deserves the highest praise, is the fact that he tried something completely different from a combat standpoint and nailed it. Like I'm surprised more people haven't tried to like mimic that, that style where it just feels like you feel really engaged in those battles. Like it's like a back and forth. You're trying to wear the guy, you're trying to wear your opponent down. Like it's a boxer. Like, he's swinging at you and you're blocking him, and you're kind of taking his energy then, and you're looking for those big shots. And it kind of felt like that in a lot of ways. So yeah, it's a tough it's a tough, I guess it depends on the day of the week you ask me. So, but today it's Dark Souls.
Yeah, no, I can see that. The one thing I liked about Bloodborne though too was the dungeons. Like that was run of the dungeons was a lot of fun for me, and that's something you should actually really do co-op. And then I will say the memorable boss battles for me were probably like Rand said, Father G. Yeah. The Moon Presence, which was a really good boss battle. There are a lot of similarities in how the bosses move in the Soulsborne games. Like you see a lot of like there's a lot of commonality with them. Like that dashing charge that you see with some of the bosses. Like in Sekiro, you saw a lot of that, especially the last boss, which was I forget the last boss where is it Genichiro I forget like are you fighting his dad and then he comes out of his dad's body? I forget what it is. I forget the ending. But a lot of that slashing or that kind of like charging across the map, like that slide, if you will. But you see that kind of movement in some of the other bosses in the Souls games. So the Slobo, you haven't played Bloodborne, right?
I haven't played any Souls games. They don't really tend to interest me. Okay. So I haven't had the opportunity. Well, I've clearly had all the opportunity. I just haven't actually taken it up yet. So no, yeah, this entire discussion is very fascinating, but I have zero to add to it.
Well, thank you, Slobo. Well, Slobo, now it's kind of slow time of the year with games. I mean, now might be a good time maybe to go in your backlog, maybe try a little Sekiro and little.
My backlog can't get no bigger right now. It's I've been juggling a lot of RPGs recently. As I wait for Outriders to release, I've been playing. I'm probably about maybe a little bit more than halfway through the base game for Horizon Zero Dawn on PC. I'm not really all too. It's kind of boring, honestly. I heard the expansion.
What game you playing? What game?
Frozen Wilds, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay. That was one I started to play. I forget what year, but I was like in the middle of playing a whole bunch of other open world games. Like I just finished, so when I went to play Horizon, I was like, I think I have open world fatigue because I just could not get through it. And I just
that's a real thing, by the way.
I was just like, it is a real thing. I don't quite know that was it though, because look, I like me some open world games, and man, it's just I like the combat, the story, and the dead faces and the weird facial animations. It's just like.
Are you playing it on the? Are you playing it on the P? Oh, well, I shouldn't even need to ask you this. You're playing it on PC, of course, right?
Of course, I am.
Master
race. PCMR, baby.
So why do you think there's not a 60? Why is there no 60 frames patch on the PS5 for that yet? You think? I mean, if Ghost of Tsushima can do one,
I think it's coming. I think there'll be one eventually.
Why is there no 60 frames patch for Bloodborne?
There might be something else coming.
There might be something else coming for that.
But no, I mean, like I want to do the Frozen Wilds expansion because when you buy it on PC, you get both. You get the it all comes together with everything. But I've been playing that. I've been playing Persona 5 Strikers, which is amazing. I've been playing Persona 4 Golden, which is also really good. Actually decided to do Dishonored, and I've been kind of enjoying that. And then there's the Outer Worlds, which had a new expansion that I decided to start a new playthrough with. So all that combined with, oh my gosh,
Slomo, you got a lot on your plate right now.
Trails of Cold Steel 1. I'm still playing through. And I'm still grinding my Vault Hunters and Borderlands 3. So there's just there's not enough time in the day for me to.
So are we talking about our games played segment? Is this the game played segment of BRAP?
No, it isn't.
We're doing?
There's no.
So we don't wait. So it's podcast about video games, but we don't talk about video games though.
No, we can talk about
apparently.
I get it though, BRAP, because
getting excited. Talk about our games.
Because you have no idea how many
talking about games.
You have no idea.
We don't have official topics about games per se.
Oh, so you have no idea how many people that I get DMs from or messages on Xbox Live being like, I hate the games played segment of Xbox 2. Get rid of it.
Why? I love it.
I don't know. I
love that.
I always do it first because it's the most important part of video games. Like, why else would you have a video game podcast? But there are some people out there that do not want to hear talk about video games. They just want to hear the topics and the rumors and the speculation. It's such a weird thing.
Well, they could always hit that fast forward button later on.
They could.
But no, we definitely do talk about games. It's never really an official topic per se.
I just finished Doom Eternal: Ancient Gods Part 1. Now that they're both out, let me tell you,
I got to play that.
I was about to swear, but I don't know if I can swear on
your
channel.
You can.
Swear to
Holy
your heart
shit! Is that DLC tough?
Is it really?
I'm playing it on normal, and it is unrelenting.
Oh my God.
It is unrelenting. Like they just there's so many enemy encounters, and the enemy encounters last for a while, and it's just wave after wave. You'll be like, all right, I got 3 Hell Knights, and I got this. I'm like, oh my God, here's a Marauder with like one of those. I forget the name of the huge one. They throw so many different combinations of enemies at you, and it's just non-stop. It is on normal. It's very difficult. I couldn't even imagine what it's like on the harder difficulties. But it's so good. Like, if you like Doom, if you like Doom Eternal, like you need to do yourself. Because apparently, I haven't played the part 2 yet. But apparently, this wraps up the entire Doom storyline, and they're done. The franchise is done.
Are they really?
Supposedly. I don't know.
I don't know if I like that.
I kind of think maybe they.
What if id Software's got something else cooking right now?
Maybe they do.
Maybe when they bringing back Quake, maybe.
Next. I'd love that.
How great would a Quake be, though?
I would not be opposed to that at all.
Quake
maybe a collaboration with a certain Master Chief is on the horizon. Who knows?
It looks so good, on the OLED Series X. Load times super quick, 60 frames. The field of view you can change. I thought about waiting for the Series X patch, which they talked about, but they haven't mentioned in a while. But I was like, I kind of want to do the DLC now before I get spoiled on it.
But I'm sure it looks great, though, Rand.
Oh, dude, it looks phenomenal. Yeah. It looks phenomenal. And the other game I played recently was Adios.
You were the second person that said did you like it? Because
I really liked it.
Undead Nick said that it was a great game. I saw that on Twitter. I was like, I put it on my Steam wish list. And so like you enjoyed it too?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's I mean, it is an indie game, right? It doesn't look very good. It's got an interesting art style to it, but it's definitely like indie, right? You know what I mean? It's only made by a couple people. Yeah. Story was very interesting. Really and that's what the game is all about. There's really no gameplay per se. The story setup is you are a farmer. You dispose of bodies for the mob by feeding them to your pigs.
I'm sold.
And then one day the game starts out by you basically being like, I'm out. So the hitman comes and you tell him you don't want to do this anymore. And the hitman's like, well, you know what that means, right? And I'll just leave it at that. So the rest of the game, which is about an hour long, is basically the hitman trying to convince you to not quit. And there's some really great dialogue in the game. You basically you're on a farm, so you kind of walk in between areas, and then there'll be a scene where it's like just a conversation playing, and you can choose the dialogue options, like up on the D-pad or left on the D-pad or whatever. So yeah, it's good. If you enjoy that style, I was very it's only an hour long, so it doesn't take long to play, but it held my attention the entire time. I was very curious to see where this was all leading. So it's super cool game.
and we got the indie gamer in the chat, and I know he's definitely going to co-sign what I'm about to say.
Is it only on Steam, by the way?
It's on Steam and Xbox. I believe it's an Xbox exclusive. It's one of those games that Xbox touted as one of the 30 exclusives for this year.
Is it in Game Pass?
No, it's not in Game Pass.
No, it's
okay.
It's cool.
Yeah,
it's retailing for $18 on Steam.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna pick it up on Steam now. Look, I enjoy indie games so much, and I love the thing about indie games. I know a lot of people would say, "Oh, visually these games don't look like current gen games or modern games," but you have to understand that those games are made by hundreds of people over the course of like 3 to 4 at minimum years, and though with high level engines and assets and the kind of budget behind it that you would see for like a blockbuster movie. An indie game can be made by one person, a team, a dozen of people, but what it's all really about is having a unique experience that you can't get anywhere else. And that's something that I always appreciate about indie games, because I know for a fact that I'm not getting the run of the mill crap that you get where a publisher says, but is that going to sell though?
Yeah.
Okay, take that out, take this out, and do what that developer did over there, because that game sold. You don't get any of that with indie games. You get the actual, true, pure vision of that developer, and sometimes it doesn't work, but when it does work, it's freaking amazing.
Yeah, the dialogue is really good in this game. The voice acting is pretty damn good to match it, and obviously not like star quality voice acting. But it's pretty good. So I definitely recommend it. I don't know if $18, some people might be like, an hour for $18, whatever. But what else have I been playing? Rocket League. My buddies got back into Rocket League, and you'll like this, Brap and Slow-Mo. So I have the CX, right? LG CX, 120 frames. And I'm playing Rocket League at 120 frames, and not only does it look really good, right? But it's so smooth. Yeah. So smooth. It's like, man, this plays so well. So we were playing that the other night, and then I went and started playing Shadowkeep with Cognito in Destiny 2, right? But Destiny 2 is 60 frames. Yeah. And as soon as I started Destiny 2, I'm like, ugh, this feels janky.
I love it.
Woo!
And that 120 frames snob.
That feeling, lasted for about 30 minutes, where I was like, this isn't smooth whatsoever.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
That experience. Once you go to like 100, anything over like 90 frames per second, and you start playing games at that level for so long, once you go back to 60, it just feels like
like molasses.
My eyes bleeding. What is happening? I can't I remember playing Destiny on PC, and I was playing it like 120 frames per second, whatever. And then I remember Luca and some people wanting to play with me on me and Forte on Xbox. And so I went over to my Xbox back then, and then I'm jumping on the game, and I'm like, it's like I couldn't shoot no more. It's like everything is, my aim is all over the place. I'm over aiming, like I'm over shooting the enemies that are strafing across me, and I'm just like, I can't do this. This frame rate. This is going from 120 frames to 30 back then, because this is before the next gen packs. And I was like, look, Luca, I'm only doing this because you're the homie. Because otherwise I would not be playing this game anymore. This is horrendous. But yeah, it's really difficult when your eyes get adjusted to seeing over 60 frames. Yeah. Even going to 60 is
breaking news. I see on Twitter. Not necessarily about gaming, but something to do with Sony. So we all know how Sony bought Crunchyroll, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So is this Dean Takahashi? No, this is Takahashi Mush. He's a writer for Bloomberg. He says, U.S. authorities extend review period for Sony's acquisition of U.S. Crunchyroll. There is also the possibility that the acquisition time will be delayed by several months and the deal will completely collapse.
Wow.
The information is reported by an anonymous source who's familiar with the situation. Uh-oh. And then the articles, Sony hopes of countering Netflix anime market delayed by antitrust probe.
Wow.
Well, don't they own? They own Funimation too, right?
Funimation,
yeah. So I can understand why they would say that this might end up being a antitrust kind of thing, because they don't want a monopoly. And if you start owning literally all of the storefronts that legally deliver, because I know some people in the chat probably like, that's not where I get mine, but legally deliver this anime, then that can be a problem. Although I think Netflix, when it comes to anime, has really been on the come up. They have a lot of titles and
content.
Yeah. So I as long as Netflix is, I think it still will go through, because the way I've seen this a lot with like the telecommunication market, where say the merger between Sprint and T-Mobile took so long and took multiple attempts, because they had to make sure that there were no pockets of the country where it was only Sprint and T-Mobile as your providers, because in that case, that's a monopoly. If they merge together, you got literally no other option but to use this provider. They had to kind of make sure that in certain ways, hey, let's get a boost in here, or whatever that other company with the green and black logos are. I can't remember who they are, but let's get someone else and help them, like, hey, even let them use our towers, so that this is no longer an issue going forward and we can reapply again. I don't think that would be really an issue when it comes to this particular thing, because everyone has access to Netflix on a phone, tablet, TV, whatever, video game system. And I mean, like, Netflix is definitely big enough at this point when it comes to providing anime that they wouldn't have those issues. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that is very interesting.
That's interesting. Let me get the super chat real quick, gentlemen. Perk later 9,000 with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Perk. Says, shut up, take my money. Have a great show, guys. Woo! Thank you for that, Perk. Appreciate it. I do want to say, says we're talking about video games here. Rand, I did look up I watched the trailer for Adios. I gotta say, I love it already. That aesthetic is just totally up my alley.
It's got its own unique aesthetic.
Yeah.
But I actually ran into a couple glitches when I first started playing it. But I think it's worth experiencing at some point if you like well-told stories in a video game, because it's definitely not one I've really seen before. So
I'm definitely gonna pick it up.
And visuals aren't everything. For a lot of times when we see the developer go for that hyper realistic approach, it doesn't age well as visually games and the tools that these developers have get better, and we start seeing, this looks more photorealistic than what we thought was photorealistic in 2015. But if you look at if you go at it with a particular art style, and I just mentioned Dishonored a little while ago, but with Dishonored, Arcane didn't go with that hyper realistic look. If you kind of look at the characters and the way they look, they almost look like they're painted, like they're paintings. You kind of that move, and you're kind of looking at it. And that plus, like Borderlands with the cell shaded look, that look tends to last longer. It ages way better, and because you kind of just lose this whole, that doesn't look super realistic thought to your head, and you start thinking about whether it just looks good or not.
Well, that's like Hades. I just started playing Hades, and Hades is like that. It's not, obviously it's not super realistic, but it's got that, cell shaded, aesthetic to it. It looks great. And it's a game that's definitely going to hold up, the next couple of years, much like to your example, Slomo, Dishonored, which, by the way, if you have Game Pass, you need to play Dishonored. 1 and 2, really solid games. Arcane is super, super, super talented.
I went back to it. I initially didn't like Dishonored that much because I'm not really into stealth games like that. But I've been playing.
You're playing it like Hitman, though.
I'm just running in. I'm just like, hey, what's up?
Bow.
Bow. Bow.
Well, I mean, you can play Dishonored like that. They give you good tools.
You can go I tried it initially, like with the stealth route, and I was just like, why am I even playing this game? I hate stealth games. But then it was in Game Pass. I'm like, let me give it a shot. I was gonna try to get Prey a shot. I can't do Prey. I just can't. Prey is not for me.
Prey's good.
Yeah, I love the premise. I love the premise of like your coffee cup could be an alien that can kill you. Like I love that. Like you walk into a room and the trash can transforms on you. You're just like, you never know what's going to happen.
Keeps you on your toes.
What I can't stand though is that I gotta shoot like this ooze gun at them, make them freeze, and I pull out a wrench and just start hacking away. I'm like,
you got to get the shotgun. That's what you got to. No, what I also actually, it's funny that you say all that, Slow-Mo, because with those types of games, I had the opposite experience. Both Hitman and Dishonored 2 was the first one I played out of the Dishonored series. Like the first time I played those games, I actually didn't care for them because I played them like an action game, and I thought, they're kind of mid as an action game. Then I was in the mood for a stealth game, and I decided to fire those back up and play them both as stealth games, and then I love those games. So that's what's kind of neat about that game design, though, is the fact that it can appeal to so many different game styles, and that's just something you don't see a lot of today. Like to your point, it feels like a lot of the big budget games, they've done their data research. They know what most people like to play and how they like the games to feel, and how they like to chase everything on the maps, and it feels like a lot of games now, just if they're really big budget, they're going to fit into, like if they're single player, probably one of 3 different types of games, and that's to your point, that's what I really do like about the indie scene, which I actually just discovered in the last couple years through ironically through Game Pass. Before that, I never used to spend. I wasn't willing to take the risk on those, but now that I've started to see what's out there, it's changed the way that I approach all those indie games, because they do take chances on game design and story and things that you just would not see from an expensive game these days.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up, OBM. I said this, I think, last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, that one thing that really stood out for me at the roundtable with Bethesda, Todd Howard talking about being on Game Pass and having the creative freedom now, per se, to kind of make the games they want to make. And that spoke to me. Like, I'm like, yes, because I don't want that blueprint, whatever AAA tentpole, all the time. I want new creative experience. Like Rand just brought up Adios, which I'm looking at it, and it's not a AAA game, but it has this nice aesthetic appeal to it. Great story, great dialogue. That's like, yes, I want to play something like that, right? It's only, I think, Rand, you said like an hour long.
Yeah,
right?
It's about an hour long. Yeah.
Not every game I play needs to be like 100 hours long, because open world fatigue is real, Slow-Mo. And
4 kids too. Don't forget that.
Yes, I have 4 kids. Yes, 4 kids. Actually, I have 4 kids. I could actually give you the breakdown. 4 kids, 2 dogs, 8 chickens, and 3 rabbits.
Jeez.
You got a farm over there, man.
Yeah, I could probably, right. I do have like a farm. Holy shit. Yeah. Anyhow, but as we're discussing games here, Slow-Mo, I have a confession to make to you. So while I was playing Hades on PC, I was also fooling around with the Xbox. My son actually, by the way, he's gotten into Forza Horizon 4, loves it, which is cool. It's cool. I love, he's having a good time with it.
Yeah, my son loves Forza too.
Yeah, and but he went upstairs and went back to the dashboard, and I went through Game Pass, was looking at something, and saw Mass Effect Andromeda, and I downloaded it.
Oh, what are you doing? Why are you torturing yourself like this?
I just want to give it a shot. I want to try it out.
Okay, you're not going to finish it. I'm telling you right now, like you're going to be like, seriously, what am I doing here? This is not Mass Effect. This is a Mass Effect wannabe with the title. It's just it's not. Yeah. All right. Look. You know what? I actually look forward to your thoughts on it. I look forward to you how you feel. Please tell me how you feel about those. They got these Sudoku puzzles in the game. I really want to know how you feel about using Sudoku.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. You travel out of our.
So that's why we have YouTube.
To a completely different galaxy to do Sudoku puzzles, to solve, to open up temples from a completely alien race that has never, ever had any contact with humans. But they got Sudoku somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, Enrique, I think while you're managing your real life Viva Pinata farm, I don't know that you really have time for Mass Effect Andromeda when there's
Viva
so many
Pinata
other...
was a good game, by the way.
when there's so many other good games to play out there. I actually did give it a chance, and I think you're right, Slomo. It was like at first I'm like, well, the combat's pretty good. Like this isn't so bad, and then all of a sudden it was just like, okay, I'm done.
The combat's literally the best thing about the game. It is the best combat in the entire, like any Mass Effect game. It's the best combat that they've ever had. But again, it's an RPG and it's a Mass Effect. It's a BioWare RPG. So although you appreciate good combat, people buy those games for great stories, great characters, great dialogue and interactions, a intriguing and exciting world that was created by them, and you got none of that in Andromeda.
Well, look, as the old adage goes, I got it for free on Game Pass, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of better games. There's better games than Game Pass.
And BRAP needs to, bridge the time before the Legendary Edition comes out for Mass Effect with the original 3 games.
Yeah,
I was thinking, as much as I love Mass Effect and I really want to replay 2 and 3, I don't know if I can trudge through.
Rand, I gotta ask you
of 1.
Rand,
they've made some changes.
Well, we'll see. I know they've made some changes, but I need to see video proof. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. Yeah.
No, I agree.
They said they cleaned up the terrible cover shooting. They also made they did a many quality of life changes, although some people are still somewhat disappointed with how they didn't really. So it's still on Unreal Engine 3 instead of the entire thing's on Unreal Engine 3 instead of going up to Unreal Engine 4. And they did that because they were kind of strapped for time, and if they were going to go to 4, they would need way more resources out of BioWare, a bigger team, in order to do that. And clearly EA wasn't willing to devote that much to it. So it looks the best it could possibly look on Unreal Engine 3. But I think the first one, of course, not being the best one, the second one is the best one. It's at least it's a good, for people who had never played Mass Effect before, it's a good entry point as far as it goes. The story's amazing. And it's just it is
amazing.
The last time I played through the trilogy, I got maybe about 20 hours. No, it wasn't even that. Maybe 10 hours into Mass Effect 1 and 6. You know what? I don't really need to do this. Let me just go to Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, and it's crazy. There's people out there that say Mass Effect 1's the best. I don't understand.
I was going to ask you, Rand, what's the GOAT?
What is the 2? GOAT?
Thank you.
It's got the best gameplay. It has the best sequence in the whole game, in the whole series, with the Suicide Squad mission.
Where's Lord Cognito?
I need to find Cognito. We need to add you to our debate team, because we got a huge debate going.
I think it's coming.
I am on the debate team.
Are you? Okay.
Oh,
right. Yeah. So me, you, Slomo, we're going to be on the debate team with Cognito, because we're all like Mass Effect 2. The only person I think who thinks that, there's just one person that thinks Andromeda's the GOAT.
Hogla.
Yep. Poor Hogue. Anyhow, no shame.
Shout out to Hogue. I listened to his video today, by the way, on the Discord stuff.
Yeah. I got to check that. I meant to check that out. So, is that a segue, OBM? Are we?
Oh, I know.
He's segueing.
Are we segueing here? What's good?
Yeah, I didn't know. I guess I'll take over as your segue guy. I'm your fact checker and your segue guy today. So yeah, go ahead.
Fact checker.
I'm kidding.
That's great. That's great. I'll let you know what I think, Slomo, about the game. I obviously haven't played it yet, but I'll probably get to it maybe this weekend. So we'll see.
Yeah, just prepare to be disappointed. Just the Ryder twins. Oh man, what? Yeah, man. No. I don't want to. Like, we already about 40 minutes into the show. I don't want to turn this into a Andromeda rant. So I'm just going to say, just prepare to be disappointed, and we can talk about it once you get like 3 or 4 hours in, and you start going, WTF every 5 minutes.
All right, I'm gonna try to go in this with an open mind, despite everything you have said to me tonight, Slomo.
Okay.
So we'll see, but yeah, thank you for the segue, OBM. So Microsoft, so there's a rumor out there, that Microsoft talks to buy Discord for $10 billion. If Microsoft pulls this off, Microsoft is clearly out there spending money. We should probably. I mean, it's funny that Jeff Grubb was talking about this. Like, given the economic times we're in, interest rates are low. It's like doesn't really make sense if you got a lot of cash to have your cash sitting in the bank or in any kind of fund right now per se, because you're not making a lot of money on it. Next best thing is to make an acquisition, right? Microsoft has a lot of money to do that. And this would be potentially a $10 billion acquisition. But I want to go to our esteemed guest this evening, Rand Thor. Rand, what are your thoughts on this potential acquisition by Microsoft of Discord?
It's not too surprising because I think they tried buying them a couple years ago. So I could see how it could fit into Microsoft's strategy. They're essentially beyond consoles at this point, right? And Slow-Mo's tweet the other day ruffled some feathers about Game Pass being Xbox's and Microsoft's gaming platform, and the console.
But isn't that true?
It is true.
Yeah.
I mean, the console is just one way to access the service.
Absolutely.
Just like PC and mobile. So there's a couple ways you could look at it. Like, it's available, it's cheap enough, and I understand, like, people like cheap. It's, that's more than Bethesda. That's more than Star Wars and what was it? Marvel that Disney paid for. But you look at it like Microsoft's all about monthly active users. They're all about growing their services and all that stuff. And even in the Bloomberg article, the guy talked about there's like an opportunity to combine the Discord Nitro subs and roll it into Game Pass as a way to grow Game Pass even more.
They not to interrupt you, Rand, but just real quick, they did that already. Some kind of collaboration.
It was a perk.
It was a perk. It was like if you signed up for Game Pass, you would get Discord Nitro for like 3 months or something like that.
Yeah.
And then there was like if you had Nitro, you would get Game Pass for like 3 months.
Yeah.
It was like some kind of thing. And I mean, I kind of enjoyed Nitro for a few months. I didn't enjoy it enough to keep it.
What if it was like if you just have Game Pass, you have Nitro, or if you have Nitro, you have Game Pass instead, because two different companies. But now if they're acquired, you could essentially try to do that. And like when you look at the potential integration, right? Xbox Live no longer exists. Well, it does exist, but like they debranded it to Xbox Network, which is whatever, fine. You call it Xbox Network with the lowercase n, whatever. But Xbox's like future is services and like getting the Xbox name to as many people as possible wherever they play, which is mainly going to be PC and mobile, smart TVs. So if you have this platform already that is really incredible compared to like the messaging system on Xbox, like if you could integrate it where like Discord is just the backbone of the messaging and chat system of the Xbox platform, whether you're on the console or whether you're on PC or mobile, that you can start to understand potentially why Microsoft and Phil Spencer, who they quote in the article, is saying that like he's talking to them as to why that might be worth the $10 billion. Like the R&D's already finished, right? You don't have to build one out yourself. And I don't know if you guys have used the mobile app on Xbox or been in a party with someone on the mobile app. Like the voice clarity is horrible.
It's not good.
But like on Discord, it's usually pretty good. And then there's the whole monthly active users angle. We know Microsoft and Xbox love monthly active users, right? They love telling us how many people played Forza Horizon 4 and Sea of Thieves and how many zombies were killed in State of Decay. They love those sort of analytics. And Discord has a lot, 140 million, right? That you could essentially, instead of building up your own platform and spending all that money trying to build a competitor, you just buy the number one dominant service. And you kind of roll it into PC because that's another area that Xbox really wants to focus on in the future is PC gaming. Yeah. Right. That's why Sega makes a lot of sense for a potential partnership or acquisition down the road because of their premier PC game developers. Right. Xbox really wants to focus on the PC side to make sure that PC Game Pass is of equal quality than console Game Pass. And Discord is kind of viewed as a PC thing, So they might be looking at it like this could bring more eyes to the piece. Maybe you turn Discord into the Xbox PC gaming segment, right? You can imagine those sort of those ideas being floated around at a company. Like you said, Jeff Grubb, mentioned, hey, like money's not doing much for you in interest rates. We have 150 billion cash on hand. We could buy this for Xbox, but then you could use the underlying technology for Teams or whatever else. Like it makes sense to buy it. The only thing that I see is I think Discord is fishing to see how much other people value them, and that they're probably going to go public and just make their money that way. But I'm not surprised Xbox is interested because they tried buying them a couple years ago, and the companies do seem pretty close. As Slow-Mo mentioned with the Discord Nitro Game Pass partnership.
There's a relationship there, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a relationship there. We'll just have to wait and see if anything comes to fruition. But it's like, I think when I was on the podcast with Forte, who's now here. Wow, this is an hour later. Did he forget what time it is? Forte's here.
He got a longer nap in than I did.
I said that Xbox is still they weren't going to stop. They view Xbox as a pillar of their company. They want Game Pass to be the dominant subscription service. Like when you think about that, like the only one that comes to your mind is Game Pass, just like Netflix is. Well, Netflix was for streaming with the rise of Disney Plus, but they want it to be the most dominant one, and you need to spend a whole bunch of money. And Discord could be that sort of another addition to it to make Game Pass and Xbox ubiquitous no matter where you're playing. So
yeah, and that's a great point, Rand, about expanding into PC and mobile for them. I mean, that's where they want to be. They want to grow Game Pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where they're going to get more subscriptions. I know OBM, you talked a lot about, I think Rand said that Xbox or Game Pass is now a pillar of Microsoft, and you've been very vocal about this, OBM. Even in our conversations, you've really given me some insight to even how Satya's compensation is structured, and even tied it to Game Pass, which I think I don't know what the percentage. I read the percentage somewhere, like maybe 5%.
It's 5%, but it's still very meaningful. Yeah, it's still
absolutely.
Especially historically. Yeah, it's the one thing, and I mentioned this on your guys' show before, so I mean, I don't want to keep repeating like the same stuff for everybody that shows up, but like that's what kind of flipped it for me, because I was almost done with Xbox in 2017, and then
I think a lot of us were.
Yeah, just like they didn't seem like they wanted to compete anymore, right? And then it was September of 2017. They restructured, and like when the dust cleared after that, and you saw like how like their hierarchy set up, or like their organizational structure. You had reporting after the dust settled. You had reporting to Nadella was the cloud division, their hardware division, the AI division, and then you had like LinkedIn kind of like in its own area, and then you had Phil Spencer at the table. It was almost like I don't know if you guys ever remember that song from Sesame Street, like that Big Bird. One of these things isn't like the others. It was like you don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't remember.
Okay.
That doesn't.
You know what I'm talking about, right, Forte? Yeah, one of these things is not like the others. It was like, so you have this division that suddenly is in their organizational structure sitting up higher than even their Windows, because like Windows is broken up and put under different other divisions, and so it's like, okay, this didn't really mesh for what that company stood for up until that point. And when you're talking about a company at that time that was over $1 trillion, and now it's almost $2 trillion, putting only has a handful of companies reporting to them, that is where they put their bread and butter. And so when you could see that was really an immature division, you knew that they were going to be dropping bombs. I pretty much was been on that bandwagon since. I'm not an insider, but I could read what Nadella is saying, and kind of
read the tea leaves.
Yeah, what he's saying even to the investors, and I'm like, they're going to drop like major bombs on the industry, because they're not. So, yeah, they're not. They were not positioning to compete with Sony. They're positioning to disrupt the market in some way so that they could lead the gaming industry. And we can see now what the strategy was, and you could start seeing that early 2018 when they, when they told us what Game Pass was going to be in the future. So like when I look at this Discord potential, again, I agree with Rand. I don't think if they got it for 10 billion, and I don't know that they will, because I that's the other thing. And Hogue mentioned this too, that it might just be Discord reaching out there to try to beef up their value before they go public. But and so that's probably what Microsoft's mostly competing with. It's competing with what that potential might be. But if they got them for around that, I think that they're worth more to Microsoft than probably anybody else, just based on how perfectly Discord fits in with all their other strategies. And I look at it, obviously it would be a strategic investment. So it's not just, if Discord's making any money, that's kind of a win. But from a strategic standpoint, it helps them, realign or helps them gain traction in the PC and mobile market a lot faster. We know that in PC, Discord's pretty well accepted. And then there's like other opportunities. They booted Mixer. It was a cheap little experiment. But I look at something like Discord and some of the technologies they have with cloud. There might be like new opportunities to try to get back in there now that they have all these users that are already on the platform. And you start thinking about like some of the potentials, because they already have opportunities to link it to, storefronts and things like that. Just like the opportunity to link people, to just really start tying in some benefits with Game Pass and, really their other services. I think if it is sellable, I feel like that is something they would definitely go for. But yeah, like Rand said, it may not be. Discord may not be serious about selling it. They might just be trying to boost the price right now.
They're fishing at IPO price.
Yeah, that's exactly, I think, what they're
they're fishing.
Yeah, I was talking to Grub about it, and he was thinking that they might go public too.
It's a
Forte.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
So let's clear some air here. My boy, my friend, fellow YouTuber, Red Outdoor, just called me out silently without actually calling me out. So I was literally up. I was up walking around at 7:42. And you ever know when you just running yourself ragged for like 3 or 4 days in a row, and you go to your bedroom and you're looking at the clock like, I can sit here for like 40 minutes, 30 minutes and be fine. And then next thing I know is 9:47. That's kind of what happened. So I apologize, man. I literally, listen, I don't even know how I'm gonna be able to even like fake this to my wife anymore, because she was sitting next to me and she was like, I woke up and I instantly looked. I was like looking for my phone. Like, where's my phone? What time is it? And she was like, your phone's right there. And I looked. I was like, oh God, I gotta get up. And she's like, oh, you get up like that to go play a game? I said, no, I gotta get on my computer. She said, no, it's a game. I said, no, I gotta get on my computer. And she was like, I gotta do something on my computer. She was like, oh, tonight is one of your things. I was like, what are your things? What are your things? So I didn't even answer that question. I walked away. So just to know that I might owe my wife something in the very near future, because she's going to probably be like, yo, you move slow when it's something that I want you to do. But if it's something that you want to do, you move like Speedy Gonzalez. And yeah. So that's the backstory on why Forte is literally an hour later. So I apologize.
Yeah. Now I also heard that other companies are in talks with Discord as well. Who do we think those companies are?
Who cares about those other companies? Really, seriously, who cares?
The article mentioned Epic and Amazon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Epic and
Amazon.
Which
if Epic bought them, they'd integrate it into the Xbox store, and you would need to make an Epic account.
Yep.
To do that. Amazon. I mean, for Twitch, probably. I'd imagine. I don't know. Too. Like Microsoft makes the most sense for somebody who would buy it.
Right.
But like Forte and like what we've been saying, it's like they're probably just seeing how much they're worth. But however, if they do an IPO and the investors want their money, you probably start seeing ads on Discord because they've been ad free for now.
That's a good point.
Who
actually
looks at Discord anyways? It's like half the time you turn it on and you look at something else.
Well, what if like before you send a message here, you have to watch this ad first?
Listen, man, it ain't gonna get that.
I'm just saying,
oh my gosh, stop it!
Don't say nothing like that, man.
Rand, you're giving people ideas.
Well, the article even mentions how Discord doesn't make any money. They're not profitable whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. Right?
Yeah, they're not unless you have Nitro subscriptions and stuff like that, or you're boosting servers. It doesn't.
Didn't they dabble and kind of go on the route of like
they tried to do the subscription
games and script. Yeah.
Well, if they go public, they're going to have to generate some kind of revenue though. So Rand's not off base here. Like
they're
going to have to do something.
No, I do agree, but that's why I think so. Going off of the conversation I was hearing from you guys, it's like me personally, I think Discord fits perfectly with what Xbox is doing. That's why, not to discount all these other companies and what they could actually do. Twitch would probably be the more interesting one, but at that point, you already have. Well, I mean, then again, you have all your users pretty much, which is your streaming users, use Discord as a function of what they're doing, and they could probably find some way of tying in the way that they actually integrate with Twitch and everything when it comes to how those streamers use it. So they probably could monetize it in a way that would be beneficial to the company outside of Xbox. Who knows what Amazon would do with it? Epic, I hate to say it, Rand's probably right about that. They'll integrate it into the Xbox store and find a way for you to have to still have an Epic account to log in and all this other crazy stuff. And it would be a completely separate thing outside of Xbox itself. But I think it helps Xbox and Microsoft on two different sides. I think, first of all, you get one of the premier platforms when it comes to gaming communication and everything like that. You pretty much have a hub for your PC gamers. You can integrate, like we thought, they dabbled in this a while ago, like years ago. We thought about if we can get Discord as Xbox Live, formerly known as Xbox Live in the near future, parties and stuff, that would be cool. I think that would help the infrastructure and everything like that. And that could benefit them there too. I also think it help them on their enterprise side because Discord could pretty much just become what Slack is for Xbox and for Microsoft. They can literally become a communicate, especially in the day and age. Right, they do have teams. They do have teams. But Teams is a working mess.
I don't know. I haven't had issues with Teams.
Well, are you using it on a global scale like that though? Or are you using it like in 4 and 5 man conversations and stuff like that? Because it really is on the enterprise side where Teams has a huge breakdown.
I've used it both at small business and at the enterprise level.
Well, you're one of the case studies. That's going to say
this is a good move. Look, there was certainly some connectivity issues at times, but. Yeah, I was also never in a room with more than 25 people. It was like maybe 20 people.
Well, I mean, I think that's pretty much what they're kind of looking at. I mean, listen, even Discord has their problems. All of us.
I'm not saying that there's not issues on Teams.
Discord has its problems, but I just think it kind of solves a problem. It doesn't even really solve a problem. It just enhances something that Xbox already has. And then it also gives it the ability to work in the enterprise side of it too, for communications and stuff like that. So it just benefits them more to do it. And it could just be like the whole WB thing. I mean, the difference between WB was they just try to fish around with the price of their IPs and stuff, and everything will be worth to them. Discord could just be shipping the price and how valuable are we really? Because you're only as valuable as how much somebody's willing to pay you to have you. So it could. I think it's probably more on the IPO side where they do want to go public, and who knows, Discord finally does go public and they basically value themselves at $110, $150 per share. Who knows? But it's just real interesting if Xbox and Microsoft came together to have that under their one umbrella, because I think it would benefit them in more than just one part of their business, but both.
It would be really interesting, and something that out of this that I know some people have been bringing up Skype, and Skype has had other issues For me, namely, its security is absolute garbage, and there's many holes in the infrastructure that anyone that wants to have your conversations in Skype is able to get it go through a back door and get it easily. Skype's got a ton of other problems. I think it's a little bit different than Discord, but what I would like to see out of this is some kind of improvement out of the Xbox PC apps.
Yeah,
because Discord on PC is amazing, and it's definitely the most stable and most feature-rich version of Discord. And if they could lend maybe a portion of Discord's people were able to like basically just take over on the Xbox beta app, the game bar, stuff like that, I think that'll be really beneficial for me, as well as integrating Discord into the Xbox UI for regular Xbox, and then that could be some ways. Because I playing on PC now. There's still people that I play with on Xbox, and they hate like having to use something not on the console in order to communicate with people on PC, because if you play games on PC a lot, you're most likely going to rather want to go into Discord to do party chat than use the Xbox apps for party chat, because there's always issues. There's always someone can't connect, or your headset isn't being recognized by the app, and you're just disconnecting randomly for no reason. This is always a problem. And Discord ain't perfect, but it doesn't have those kind of issues. So it would be just great to see some kind of implementation there, the way we used to see implementation for things like Twitch, just readily available in Xbox, an easy way to do it. That's something that I hope they'll be able to get put together if this does happen.
Well, think about the other possibilities like streaming and sharing, or just inviting people to like cloud gaming. And there's like so many different, like they're on the verge of a lot of these features anyways in Discord. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for those two to work together to improve it. I am seeing some stuff in the comments about the Skype thing. The one thing I would mention about Skype, because I've heard that comparison used a lot, like, hey, Skype died when Microsoft bought it. Skype was bought in 2011 by Ballmer, and along with the Nokia and all that other stuff. None of that stuff. The reason that stuff really failed in the last few years is that when they changed over their leadership, a lot of that stuff didn't fit. They just had different strategies, and obviously their
that's a great point, OBM.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's obviously their overall strategies were the right ones, because the stock price for Microsoft went through the roof, and their value did in that time period. So, but I would say that probably better things to look at would be like a GitHub or LinkedIn, these other big purchases that have been made under this regime. They generally buy them, and they kind of let them still, like the benefits or the things people like about those, they pretty much have left those in place along with the cultures of those companies. So I don't know. I don't really see a correlation. That was a Ballmer purchase.
And people are bringing up Mixer in the chat, by the way. What are your thoughts on
that? Mixer is like,
because that's what everyone's going to say. If this deal goes through, people go, oh, what about Mixer?
Like Mixer was a ground floor, like super cheap, and like. We talked about this before, Enrique. You always talk about like skin in the game, right? Like Mixer cost them nothing. That was like, that they picked up some change off the ground, and like,
you're wrong on that.
Really?
I mean, buying Beam, sure, cheap, but the amount of money they spent,
they spent.
Mixer was the Microsoft. It's not. It's an insignificant amount, but still, they poured a lot of money into Mixer. But in my opinion, when something like that fails, you just pull the plug. That was what I was worried about. Was like they were just going to keep Mixer going just because they had to. It was like, even though it wasn't going to do anything like what they wanted, it was never going to become a Twitch competitor like the whole idea was. They were just going to keep it around for a while and just continue to dump money into it. But they were like, no, like, let's just pull the plug now so we can, use the money that we would invest in Mixer and use it in other places.
Yeah,
it's just ironic that we're talking about Discord when the reason Discord even exists is because of how bad Skype got.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the literal reason why they built Discord was because of how bad Skype got. And now Microsoft's like, well, let's just buy Discord, so I get the concern by a lot of people because of how they ruined Skype. But you're right. Like Steve Ballmer's Microsoft is a very different beast than Satya Nadella's Microsoft.
Absolutely.
So I could see them buying Discord and not really changing anything much, just integrating it with, whatever plans they have and just keeping it mostly like what they did with LinkedIn and GitHub. But I mean, who knows if that even happens? This because I watched Hoag's video and Hoag was like, this seems like this information is being leaked by people from Discord.
Yeah.
Right. So Discord's probably like, hey, we saw Roblox get an IPO of $43 billion. Like, what are we worth? We're the premier gaming chat app that everybody on PC uses. And if Roblox is worth $43 billion, then we got to at least be worth $15 billion, right?
No, but the difference is people. What did I tell everybody here? We were talking about Roblox going live that next day. I called my wife the day I found out the IPO was going live the next day. I said, "Hey, I need $500 from you so we could put into this stock." She said, "Which one?" I said, "Roblox," and she's like, "Oh, enough said." Because you know how much money I put into Roblox every week, every month? I actually have a subscription service through Roblox on top of the amount of the Robux that I actually put into that game. And there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands and millions of people just like me that pay into a service that they offer. And I don't know if Discord pulls that type of offer, especially since where do they actually get their money from? The one thing that they did have was the store at one point. They had the Discord store that maybe still is somewhere in their underlining code that they just don't show to people anymore. But where's that?
Is it the bots? The bots that you can't really have a Discord server and manage it well without at least one or two bots actually kind of taking care of things for you. If you and like just recently, I was looking at a bot that I knew for a fact had all its features free a couple years ago when I was like a moderator in a different Discord server, and I'm looking at it now and like they've locked a lot of its features behind a paywall, and I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't think that was a thing, but here we are. So maybe that's a part of it. Maybe they're like, you reach a certain amount of capacity of downloads, and you can go ahead and monetize to your heart's content, but we get a portion of it or something like that. Yeah,
well, the biggest problem is most of the people that you would use something like that have so many people that are in their Discord that, you talked about this about just in our own Discord, Slow-Mo, how at a certain point, you're not going to deal with your Discord. Your mods and your people are going to deal with it. Mm-hmm. And it's cool that the bots, they do have bots that will do a lot of that automation for you, but you can get bots for free that do stuff for you that people will also do for free for you too. It is a little bit more reliable when it comes to what the people that you trust to actually run that stuff. But outside of like bigger file sizes and downloads and stuff like that, because a lot of the stuff is just tied into Discord Nitro, because they like you said, they locked a lot of the stuff behind that. They do have a tier membership for that. It's really interesting to find out how many people are actually subscribed to that. I'm actually subscribed to it because I kept it ever since I had the free 3-month deal from my Game Pass subscription, and I actually like it because it does give you, especially my what we do, I share a lot of files on Discord that are like bigger than 8 megs and stuff like that. So
that's 8 megs.
Or what it was, 25?
Gigs?
He said 8 megs.
Yeah, 8 gigs. JPEG. Yeah, basically, high resolution, 300. You have high resolution, 300 DPI. Sharing thumbnails back and forth. This for Rand to tell me that the yellow sucks.
That's hilarious.
You asked, okay? So I'm at a party with Forte and Attic, and he's like, "Hey, you give me some advice about this YouTube stuff and my thumbnails and all this stuff." So I said to him, And you like the slow-mo. I said to him, yeah, the yellow in your thumbnails suck. It feels and looks amateurish.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not the only one with bad thumbnails.
Listen, he also he hit me like it wasn't the fact that he said they're yellow and they suck. He said a combination of they look amateur. Like the amateur word guy. I was like, huh? What?
Hey, you said be honest. I'm telling you what I thought. They look like shit. It's like I see that. I'm like, I'm not clicking on that shit. If yellow amateur font, like get that out of here.
Ooh. Yep. It belies the quality of your videos. People look at it like, well, if the thumbnail look like this, what does the video look like?
First impressions, right?
Oh, first impressions, God. Lasting impressions.
Oh, my eyes are watering now. That's okay.
I love Rand's brutal
thumbnail
honesty,
looks
though.
great. The new thumbnail looks great.
The DPS thumbnails though are fire. So you got that.
Best thumbnails in the business. Hey, look, I actually. That's the great thing about I think me and Forte's collaboration. I had the idea. I'm just driving, and I'm like, this idea hits me, and I said, "Oh, what if we put our topics into the actual letters?" So I called this man. He don't answer the phone as usual. I called him again. He still ain't answer the phone. I called him a third time. I guess he finally realized this was an emergency. I talked to him, and I'm like, "Hey, look, I got an idea. I just don't know how to do it." And he's like, "Well, what's your idea?" I told it to him. He's like, "That sounds amazing. I can do that. Give me a few minutes." I'm like, "Bet." Next thing you know, it's just that kind of collaboration where if you have an idea but you don't really know how to get it done, but then like your partner in crime is like, "Oh yeah, I know how to do that. This is how we do it," and then we just been iterating off of it and improving it ever since. It's pretty fun, man. I love content creation.
I do too.
I just love Rand's brutal honesty. Yeah,
he said to be
I
honest.
look like shit.
Listen, and I respect and listen as much as it hurt my soul at the moment.
I don't remember your old thumbnails. What he said, Red saying yellow. What was it about that was yellow? I don't remember.
It had like I would. Okay,
it looked like
none of your recent
color.
videos, Forte. He hasn't seen them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
He just exposed himself.
No, because all the ones I've seen have like the green, like green Xbox stuff.
His recent ones had he would have the text on the right hand side where some of it would be yellow and something would be green. So it'd be like what was your Halo video? What was it? Your Joseph Staten one? What did it say on the right hand side?
The direction of Halo Infinite, and the direction of was in yellow. Halo Infinite was in green.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, now it was yellow. So direction was yellow. Now
the
it's white.
The direction of was in yellow.
Yeah, now it's white.
Yeah,
it looks better now.
Yeah, it looks better in white. I'm not a big fan of the yellow.
Yeah, especially that piss yellow you used.
Yeah, he said piss. Yeah. Although I'm actually
the piss yellow that makes people say you need to go to the doctor and get this checked out.
You might need some antibiotics here, sir.
Oh man.
Yeah, although
your urine should not look like that.
Wow.
Listen, I appreciated the feedback, and I instantly changed the last thumbnail and said, "Red, what do you think about this?" And at this point, I'm looking for a silver lining at the end of it. But Red was like, let me go look a little deeper. And he said, I had to like your hexagon thumbnails more. And I'm like, oh man, I don't think I have that one. That means I have to remake that from scratch.
He's like, what's the most important thing I need to do? And I'm like, make videos? Because you be slacking, Forte. You gotta be like slow-mo. Slow-mo's pumping out videos. You know what I'm saying?
Always cranking out content. I love it.
Doesn't matter how bad your thumbnails look as long as you're putting out videos, but you don't put out any videos, so it doesn't matter what your thumbnails look like.
People have thumbnails. That's funny. People have thumbnails over their faces, like making facial expressions.
I hate those. I
hate those too.
But they work.
But they work.
I've seen the data where they do work because people click on it because of like, oh my god. But I could never I don't appear on camera just because I don't really have the setup for it just yet. Maybe one day. But you guys could clip this. If I ever appear on camera, include my face and a shocked expression on my thumbnail, Call me out, please.
Rand.
Call me out.
We will call you out, sir.
Don't
worry. We will call you out.
Don't worry, Rand. We'll end up using your face shot, and we'll do the thumbnails with the tears or something like that.
Yeah, right. Right.
I'm
The
kidding.
thumbnail with the tears. Oh my god, that's great.
Those are the absolute worst. I cannot stand that shit.
Yeah. But people do it. You look at Young A. He's got very simple thumbnail, right? The guy's got like a million subs, but he puts like Rand said, he puts out content though.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if you have the subscribers who automatically watch, you don't need to, you don't need to be like Spawnwave. He doesn't. His video titles are very to the point. He doesn't really. He puts himself in the thumbnail, but he's not like, "Oh my god, look at this!" Right? Yeah, because people are going to watch, and Young A is the same. You can do whatever, and people will watch it. It's just that when you're trying to look for that extra oomph to get over the hump. Like people will do that. So I understand why people clickbait and do that stuff because YouTube is it can be a harsh mistress sometimes. At some point you're in the algorithm and they're recommending you and you're doing great.
And then you're the outside looking in.
Then all of a sudden you're out of the algorithm and nobody's watching your videos. And so people try to do things that they think YouTube wants, right? With longer videos for the longer watch times, the clickbait titles, the clickbait thumbnails, all to get back in those good graces, and everybody tries to appease the algorithm lords. So I get why people do it. It's because Google and YouTube, their whole business is almost based on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So people do it for those reasons.
I'd say bless anyone who cranks out videos on a regular basis. I can't do it. I don't have the time to do it, but I love seeing other people doing it because there's some really smaller channels. That are really putting out some good stuff. Like I say small, I think, Slimo and Forte, you guys put out great content and
thank you.
Yeah. No, you guys really do. I've always enjoyed watching your stuff. So
where's One Bad Mother's YouTube channel?
He doesn't have one. He should have one.
You can call it the Industry Insider.
Yes. Thank you, Rand.
Like Randall Insider?
No, that's not me. One Bad Mother, he tells me everything I need to know. I always listen to him.
So it's funny, when I heard Rand talking on DPS the other day, I'm like, wait a minute, I've heard that before. I'm like, oh, OBM said that. See, OBM? Let me stop.
Yeah, I'm not the insider. Don't set any expectations like that. I am going to get more involved in the content creation, but right now I'm doing it through the Xbox era. So I think for me to go alone with children and just single dad and work and everything else, it is a lot of work, you guys. It's just it
is a lot of work. Yeah,
people don't really appreciate that. Just to write content or just to write an article, if you try to do it the right way, can take a whole day. So
I guess I'm lucky because I don't have any kids.
Yeah.
It's
Rand, it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
I'm usually on fumes. Like by the time I get here. Oh man.
Hey, you know what, OBM? You know what's funny, man? I was just thinking about we were just talking about you making content, and when we had you on BRAP the first time, and we were talking about you being on BRAP the first time, how full circle you and I've come, right? Like we met Xbox Live.
Here's your chance to tell everybody that you're an Xbox Live beta tester.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that.
He was going to mention it.
Segue to Luca saying, "What's up, guys? This Luca."
Yeah, no. I'm not going to mention that. I was.
Because Luca going to show up as soon as you say it. Because
Luca's like, oh, Luca's be like, oh, here's Enrique again, letting everyone know that he was a. No, I'm not going to say it. No, what?
Here's Enrique letting people know how old he is.
I'm pretty old. I was in my 20s when I was a beta tester, but yeah. So what? Like 18 years, right? OBM?
Yeah. Well, since at least since late 2002 when Xbox. I was day one. I missed the beta, but I was day one Xbox.
You were day one, yeah. Okay, so we met then after. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
So.
Day one, baby.
Yeah. So I bring that up because Microsoft is rebranding Xbox Live as we knew it to Xbox Network. That still doesn't really just doesn't. I don't want to say it doesn't sit well with me. It just seems odd Xbox Live, Xbox Network. Like,
I get why they're doing it.
I get it
still
too.
Sucks.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like Xbox Network, like PlayStation Network, Xbox Network. You're right, Forte. I understand why they're doing it, right? Refers to the underlying Xbox Online service, and they're still keeping Xbox Live Gold, right? That's still going to be a thing, but I don't know, guys. I'm not really feeling the Xbox Network thing.
I mean, I don't like. I mean, I get the change. I explained it in my video, but
yeah,
like, to me, Xbox Live is iconic.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Rand.
I agree.
I first got on Xbox Live in 2004 when Halo 2 came out, and there was nothing like it at the time.
Nothing.
And to me,
remember Big Team Battle, Rand? How great that was.
Big Team Battle. Like, to me, online gaming. When I think of online gaming, I think Xbox Live.
Yes.
Right. But like we mentioned with the whole Discord thing, Microsoft's goal is beyond consoles. Like, there's just one thing. So there's going to be plenty of people in the future, 5 to 10 years from now, who game on PC, who game on mobile or Android or TVs, who have no idea what Xbox Live is because they're not accessing the subscription because multiplayer is free on those. So to them, it's like you have this term Xbox Live that literally means nothing to a whole host of people, now and in the future. And it's just better to get rid of it, call it what it is, which is the Xbox Network. And you can still keep Xbox Live nomenclature for now with Gold, which I still think is going away in a couple years or whatever. Some people like to say, "Oh, I got you, Rand. You said Xbox Live was going away like this year," and I'm like, "Nope, didn't say that. Said it would go away at some point." I said free to play would be free this year, but I still think this opens the door to eventually dropping Xbox Live as a terminology completely, or rebranding it into something different. In a year or 2 or 3 years from now. It's a needed change because even the term Xbox Live has baggage that goes along with it. So it's something that needed to be done. It's just for people who have been with Xbox for a long time. It just comes across as just sad.
Just you know
what I mean?
Yeah,
it
sounds generic too. I'm just like, you're right. Like, I'm sorry, be real quick. I just want to make this point. But what he's to his point, like Xbox Live, like you and I lived at OBM. Like, to me, it's iconic. Like, it was that one thing that kind of disrupted the console industry when nobody was doing online gaming like that. I mean, Sega had done it before with the Dreamcast, but nothing to this level. I mean, it just hadn't been done yet on console, and it's a big reason why Microsoft put that big old Ethernet port in the back of the Xbox. Go OBM.
No, I think I pretty much am going to end up reiterating a lot of the stuff you guys have said. But yeah, that's the thing about Xbox Live. It does make sense why they are changing the branding, or I wouldn't even say that they're rebranding. They're trying to make sure their messaging is going to be clear in the future, and I think they're just trying to get stuff out of the way that's going to confuse people or lean into like thoughts of the old model and things like that. But yeah, when you think about Xbox Live, it's the one that is like the time that the Xbox brand was probably at its best, like when it was innovating, and it is really the one thing that you can think of in their history before Game Pass that was like that thing that really led the industry, that changed the industry, where they really kind of cemented themselves as somebody who had an impact on gaming. And so it is a bit sad to see that go away, because it does bring back good feels. When I think of Xbox Live and that glowing, logo, I think of like Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
Yes, Wolfie.
Yeah, getting stuck in those trenches and
when you storming the beach.
The first time somebody talks shit about your mom in that high squeaky voice mask, remember that?
Yes, yeah. I'll never forget the voice mask and the pre-adolescent kids that were playing Unreal Championship. Hey man, fuck you, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, these kids had the worst. They had the worst mouse like ever. Like some of the stuff that these little kids would say, I'm like, dude, where are your parents? Like, what's going on here?
And then they did it with their voice changer.
Yeah, they were like legit, like little kids. Hey man, I fucked your mom. Like, what is going on? It was bad. It was bad.
The good old days. Yeah, that's back before party chat. So you were forced to talk to the public, and everybody talked to everybody. And so,
remember those pregame lobbies? Oh my God!
Right? Yeah, the pregame lobbies where you hurt your opponents as well as your teammates. Yeah. That was.
Yeah,
that's when I was my naive.
Man, forget that. Halo. I remember Halo.
Oh,
man.
Halo, yeah.
You get in the pregame lobby so inward. Are you ready to get raped inward? I'm like,
wow,
bad. No, you're not lying, Sobo. That's when my naive ass learned that racism was still alive and well thanks to Xbox Live back in the
day. Wow.
But part of me would give it all back to have that back, because I think we lost, because I do think we as gamers lost something. Yeah, we could just sit in the party and communicate with our friends and stuff, and that's cool, and that's like something that most people want to do. But I do think, especially with me being competitive, that stuff used to drive me like crazy back then, and I think we lost something when party chat basically became the most dominant way for people to talk, and then everybody just didn't talk in games anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting.
We met a lot of. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. I think we got a little delay here. With my internet. I was going to say that's, I think, when we met a lot of our friends though back then. Like I still have people from and obviously you're one of them, but people that you made friends on Xbox Live back in the day, and some of those have been stayed in my friends list for now it's almost been 2 decades.
Yeah,
which is weird, man. Like
you had no kids, right?
Yeah. No, Kane's
me.
You guys didn't have kids back then, I don't think. No, maybe Kane's had little.
No, Kane's had kids. I didn't have kids. I was still a bachelor at that time. OBM.
You still were, you thought you're the shit. You're out there being Mr. Player.
I was. Hey, baby, want to come back to my house? Play some Xbox Live?
Yeah.
Oh man. What a line there.
I'm glad.
I'm sure that worked 0% of the time.
Hey,
good thing you're married now. I don't think your game would cut it these days.
Just picked up Splinter Cell. I want to come over.
Oh wow! I got something you want to sneak around.
Oh wow! What is happening?
I don't know what's happening, but I love it.
No, man, it was a good
you want
time.
To play stealth in the bedroom, baby?
Stealth. I don't know if that work in the bedroom. Got to be able to touch somebody in that situation.
I can put on my night goggles.
You know what? I think you've been actually. You know what? Have you actually played these games before?
What's that?
These games you talking about?
Yes,
you played
I played
them. You
Splinter
played
Cell.
them before.
Yes, I played Splinter Cell. Come on, man.
No, not those games.
Oh no, not those games. No, not
those games. You played the other games you've been
talking about Sam Fisher in the bedroom. No, I've not done that.
Hanging upside down from a ceiling and stuff. Hey, baby, I'm Spider-Man. Oh, shit.
Oh my God, I'm in tears right now. All right,
but that's what Xbox Live did, though. Think about that. That's what it did. It enabled trolls to have a bigger voice. It enabled the ability to just go in and just enjoy games and be motivated on what you enjoyed. And I just think with them basically just saying that Xbox Live is only going to be basically available on a card that you buy from a store, or when you go to the store and actually re-up your membership for however long that's going to be. Because I do think this is just another step at trying to get away from actually having Xbox Live being a thing. Because I think once Game Pass is critical mass and it gets to a point where it's just as if not more members than Xbox Live, that thing's going to disappear. Because the easiest way to take something away from people is if they don't remember them ever having it. And by branding everything Xbox Network, it's like, sooner or later, they're just going to, separate all that out the ecosystem. So that day is going to come. And when it does come, it's going to be sad, because I still have about a good about a good 90 to 100 people that are on my list from like within the first 6 or 7 months, because remember when Xbox Live first came out, nobody knew anybody. So I would be playing NBA 2K or playing NCAA 2K or Ghost Recon, and if you just had a good game against somebody in one of those games, you would just add them.
Yeah, you said,
like, yo, that was a good game, and you just add people. And
let me add you. All right,
you played a good game of 2K last night, Forte.
Yo, 2K was fun last night. I honestly forgot how fun 2K was because I just
B-Money's out here ducking me.
You see, I actually went into the game and played it, sir. I actually played 2000.
I'm playing other games right now. I'm sorry, sir. I'm busy right now.
But you keep telling like one of the kings of the court that you gonna play him, and then you keep running.
I told him to name a time and place. Runner out here. I told him to name a time and place. He's not even here tonight.
Well, he says he's tired of your life.
What does the podcast have to do with you playing him in 2K?
Come on. That's not the point.
Forte is Scottie Pippen literally ended somebody's career last night with the huge dunk.
I had to.
Was it over Mario Chalmers?
It was over somebody. I was like, Lord have mercy. What did I just see?
Wow, that's funny.
The fact that Rand, what's his name, was like, yo, you better record that. I ain't never seen that one before.
Oh, that's funny.
It was like one of those. It was like that, it was like that first time that Jordan dunked on Mutombo. He was trying to wave his finger at people.
Oh,
and it was disgusting. I remember that. But it was even worse because it just looked like, all the midsection was all in his face.
You gave him the deacon.
Oh, he got everything. Everything with one hand. I was like, ugh.
The deacon.
In the middle of the lane. It was fun, though. But think about it.
Wait, who were you playing against?
It was me, Rand, and Dealer. We were playing, the co-op versus the computer.
Gotcha. Okay.
But that's what Xbox Live is. Just think about that. We have an avenue to be able to reach out, and that part of it won't go away because even when the name change and everything like that, we'll still be able to do that. But it would just be weird. The old heads like us, the originaires of it will call it Xbox Live forever. No matter what Xbox does, it will still be Xbox Live. But once you start getting these new age people in here, and we get up like another 5-10 years from now, and they like, oh man, Xbox Network is a great place to play. And I'll be like, what sacrilegious thing did you just say?
No, it's Xbox Live. It will forever be Xbox Live.
Nothing but Xbox Network Live. With the lowercase n for it.
Oh yeah. Shout out to you for bringing that. I didn't even notice that until he said it in his video. I was like, oh, it does. So you're not even putting an emphasis on the network.
No, sir.
I think that's the point of it. I actually don't think anybody's ever going to say Xbox Network. I think we're going to forget about that thing ever even existed. We're going to be like, someday we're going to look back and be like, oh yeah, that's right. They do call that thing the Xbox.
Yeah, we're going to put it.
Network.
Yeah, we're going to put that in a box. What did Will Smith say in Bad Boys? He said we're going to take that.
We're going to put that in the box.
We're going to take that and put it in another box.
With my mama's titties. And we looking at my mama's titties. We're going to put that in the box too.
Yeah, we're going to take that in the box. We're going to put that in the box. We're going to take this and put that in the box too. And we're going to throw that MFer in the freaking ocean. That's what we're going to do with that name.
You mentioned how Xbox Live disrupted the industry, right?
Yeah.
And I think we all can agree with that. Like, Microsoft was onto something, and everybody pretty much had to do what they did. Like Sony did with PlayStation Network. Even Nintendo has an online service, but they revolutionized a lot of stuff. And that was in the time where they were kicking ass. I usually look at like Xbox was doing really, really well up until about the reveal of the Kinect, and then like I kind of was like, oh, we're doing Kinect now. And I remember hearing that like they canceled a bunch of really hardcore games in favor of Kinect stuff. So I was just like, oh, right. I'm gonna equate this to what Xbox is doing with Game Pass, because I think that is the next major disruptive force that Xbox is doing. Now, will it be on the level of an Xbox Live? Maybe not. But if the rumors that I hear constantly about what they want to do with Game Pass and the titles that the big third-party AAA titles that they are pursuing to put day one in the service, they like in a couple of years, who knows where this all will lead. I kind of just wanted to point that out.
No, Rand, and I'm going to be a little bit bullish here with your prediction. I think this thing's going to be big for them, much like Xbox Live. And I mentioned this on Crossfire last week. Like people were saying, oh, well, you know, it's only got 18 million subscribers. It's not concurrent, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, you know what? It's the same thing that I heard when Xbox Live came out. Like people who was going to buy an Xbox with an Ethernet port? Like why even put the Ethernet port? No, everyone had 56K dial up at the time, right? And it wasn't about today, it was about tomorrow. So everything they're doing today is more about tomorrow. We're going to see an OBM. You've said this a million times in our conversations. You know, this is about 5, 6 years, 7 years down the road. Yeah. You know, where we see these investments pay off. But go ahead, man.
No, I was going to say, I actually think, Rand and Enrique, to your points, I think it's actually going to be much bigger than Xbox. And if Microsoft didn't think that, they wouldn't be sitting him at that table right now. But if the thing I point out too, when people bring up the 18 million, take a look at the Netflix, like that their growth curve over time. It took them like 15 years to get to 10 million. Now, obviously it's a completely different thing, right? Like they didn't have a base of people to work off of. That probably would have been more like, right now this is probably more like Blockbuster transitioning or something, but it took a long time to kind of hit that point. And then once the technology was available, like when 4G became mainstream, when they went to streaming, like they went to streaming and then they bumped up to like 10 million. And then a few years later, 4G went mainstream. And when that happened, they just like exploded throughout the entire world. And so I think that's what that positioning is for. It's really waiting for the 5G to change the world. And I know 5G kind of exists. It doesn't really today. Like it's not, the 5G here today is not what they're talking about. They're talking about something that's probably not going to be in our infrastructure for 5 to 10 years, but that's what they're prepping for. It really is meant to be something that's going to, that's where the gaming industry is going, and they've done a lot of market research on that stuff. And gaming is following a lot of the same trends that music and movies and TV followed. And the difference is that gaming takes a lot higher level of technology to become accessible and convenient to people, all over the world. And so when that environment is available, that's what they're trying to make sure that they're in the pole position for that environment. And that's kind of what we're moving to. But I know it's a different topic, so I'll shut up.
Yeah, well, let me ask you, OBM. Somebody in live chat says Netflix is in the hole. You sure you want to look at them? What do you say to that?
Yeah, well, Netflix is worth right now like $250 billion or something close to that. I mean, there's a reason.
$255 billion.
Our trader. It's good that we got Forte, our trader.
Netflix is no longer in the hole, though.
No, they're not. No. They're in the.
They just came out of the hole, and now everything going like they can now fund their projects with the money they make from the revenue. So while it took years for Netflix to become that way, they eventually did, and now they're raking hand over fist. I think it's funny that people bring up the Netflix. Like, here's the other thing, right? I want to mention about Game Pass really quickly. This idea of that it's not profitable, right, or won't be profitable. I always say, who the fuck gives a flying fuck if it is or if it isn't? Like, I don't care about Microsoft's bottom line. I don't care about PlayStation's bottom line or Nintendo or any of that stuff. All I care about is I can turn on my console and I can download Octopath Traveler for free right now if I wanted to. I don't care if the company's losing money. I'm not a stockholder at Microsoft. Maybe I should, though. Maybe I should actually buy some Microsoft stock, right? So
you don't have any?
I don't own any Microsoft stock. But the point of the matter is, like, I don't understand. Sony stock. I don't understand the fixation around the liquidity of Game Pass about, it doesn't make Microsoft any money or whatever. It's like, who cares? You're sitting here in a YouTube chat or on Twitter, putting on your fake clown NBA analysis hat, being like, well, Game Pass sucks because it doesn't make any money. Like, what do you know? You don't know shit. Like, I hate that discourse surrounding on it.
Well, it's just an arguing point.
It's a talking point.
Yeah, it's an arguing point that makes
it's a dumb talking point.
Yeah, well,
it's a ridiculous talk. It's a ridiculously dumb, stupid talking point that because it's like you can't. It's like people don't even like. You want to go after the quality of the lineup or how often big games come into the service. Like, we can have that discussion. We can talk about those games. We can talk about the Metacritic of all the games combined and what happens when Bethesda games and Xbox first party games. We can have that discussion about the quality of the lineup and all that stuff. but a discussion about the finances of it when none of us know anything about the finances of how much it brings in or how much they pay out, other than like the creators saying, hey, Game Pass is amazing for our game, and Microsoft coming out and saying, the economics of this work, but we're going to sit here and talk about this idea that it doesn't because it loses money. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, and speaking of I heard like, and I don't know if this is true, but I've heard the magic number for them is 50 million subscribers. They'll make more money than they ever did making a big AAA game.
Probably. That's what, $1 billion every 2 months, essentially.
And they're a couple years away from that. Yeah. You know, Randy, and you bring up really, really good points. And I know like it's easy to kind of get lost. Well, I do find the conversation fascinating, to be honest. But to throw some people a bone, you know.
Well, it is fascinating, OBM. That's a great point. Like there's certainly, I think, an academic approach or
the only fascinating thing about it is that people actually care about what $1 trillion company makes off a service that they're basically giving you for $1.
Well, I will say this, because there is a lot of us that lived through like the Dreamcast and, you know, other failed ventures and experiments. So I think there could be this, I don't know, PTSD from some longtime gamers, or it could be just people that are like, hey, this is just too good to be true. Is this going to last? You know, like, hey, how long are you going to take? How long is this going to be good before you take this away from me? And I think there's some of that mixed in with the disingenuous, you know, trolls and whatever else, you know, that obviously don't really give a shit. They're just trying to cause trauma.
I mean, Office. I remember Office 365 being something upwards of $100 per user, and Microsoft had no competition in that area, and they still don't have competition in that area. But they allow people to literally get into a subscription service for $6.99 a month.
They make more money that way.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the thing that it's like. Yeah, when you look at the number, it's like $6.99, but you got 90 million people that use it on a consistent annual basis or a monthly basis versus somebody going in and spending $100 for a lifetime license to it, which it's a fallacy that I just never did understand why people care that much about what companies do when it comes, unless you are invested in them. And I actually have investment in Microsoft, and I still don't care when it comes to how much money they make, because guess what? Their growth rate over the last 3-4 years they doubled the profitability of their company doing something right. So,
the only thing I would kind of finish the point with, though, in regards to that, if you are genuinely worried about it, the only thing that you really need to know is that a lot of the investments they've made recently, like even Bethesda's biggest game's probably not going to be out for 5 years. A lot of these things aren't meant to pay off for 5 to 10. You know, they're investing in things for this that are looking at long term. So you know that this thing's going to be around and it's going to keep building up for at least the next 5 years. So like, I think to Rand's point, there's enough evidence to just basically say, we know it's going to stick around for a while. Just fucking enjoy it. We don't even know if we're going to have a, you know, world war before 5 years. So, you know, like at some point you just got to just step back and enjoy what you got.
Yeah. And I think I see some people in the chat kind of bringing up like things that happened like 20 years ago. And it's like, well, you know, we're also in a different position as in the marketplace right now where
second channel.
Yeah. Like where like it all seriously, like you have subscription services and other forms of entertainment. So this isn't anything. It's not a new concept anywhere. This is an existing concept that works. It just hasn't been done at this level or to the scope the way that Microsoft's doing it. Now, obviously,
looking at the chat, but are people questioning whether the subscription service actually works for being profitable? Is that what's going on?
Well, some people are saying that, you know, Netflix is, you know, going to be is going to be out of the market the rate they're going because
that's not.
Anyway,
that's not true.
That's not true at all.
People are taking comments that other people made. They didn't do their research, and then you're just repeating what they said. Like here's a great example of why they're doing this. It's because this is consistent revenue over a period of time that people make more money, or companies make more money off of you that way than you spending up front a little bit more money, and then that's a one-time actual transaction. We have seen this over and over again in other industries, and this industry, yes, is different because it's gaming, but it's not so different that it wouldn't work in this industry. Right. A great example of why this is, and I've seen people say things like, "Oh, well, if they weren't in third place, they would have never did Game Pass." That's not true either. In the office software utilities industry, they don't have any competition whatsoever. And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about like Microsoft Office. They had zero competition in that industry, and they still did Office 365. Yeah, Google's trash applications that people can't even. I think it's called Pages. People can barely even remember the name of it. They have no competition in that arena, yet they still went down ahead and did a subscription service that has 44 million subscribers right now. So, like, it's the approach they were going to take with Game Pass, where they were number 1, number 2, number 3, in 5th place, and they were freaking Google Stadia levels of being in this industry as far as their install base and the percentage of what they were getting in revenue. They still would have did something like this. It's just the way it is. It's a proven method. It's a proven business method. And literally no one has come up with an actual argument that says any differently besides, well, Netflix is in the hole. That's literally all they got. And it's just like that.
Netflix ain't even in the hole anymore. Disney Plus is in the hole now, though. Right. Like Disney Plus is like, well, I mean, they outdid their forecast, but they still were projecting not to make. They still weren't projecting to make any like actual profit until like 4 or 5 years from now, or from last year. And it's like, dude, there's literally subscriptions for everything. You can get a Razor subscription. Like, I subscribe to a Bark Box, which is a little box I get for my dog every single month with some treats and some toys. Like, almost every business.
We need to talk off air, Rand. I need to sub to that.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a common business model that is proven to work, because most companies would rather take their recurring annual revenue, because it's always there. You can count on it, rather than individual sales where you're not sure. Maybe you sell a lot, maybe you don't. But annual recurring revenue is you can set your clock by it, and that's what these companies want. That's what Microsoft wants. That's how Phil was able to essentially save Xbox when Satya wanted to pull the plug, because he basically tied the cloud and a subscription service into Xbox to like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to align Xbox into the core values of Microsoft that runs under Satya, which is the cloud and subscriptions. And when you listen, like One Bad Mother says, when you listen to Satya Nadella talk about gaming, he doesn't even mention Xbox.
No,
it's basically just Game Pass.
Game Pass, yeah,
because that's all that matters to them. And the growth in the cloud. Like, I don't know. Like, people read into it, like the whole fanboy stuff, and they see their favorite, fanboy Twitter personas say stupid shit.
Personas.
You know what I mean? And then they repeat it. They don't understand any of that stuff. Like,
Rand, there's another point. There's another point to this too that I think a lot of people overlook. And OBM, we've talked a lot about this behind the scenes. The economics behind development now is changing, right? Where it's not like Arcane would have probably shut down if this deal didn't happen with Bethesda, right? Yeah. And Game Pass could be a haven for studios to do creative things that, in the current state, the way the economics of game development's going, would it be sustainable for these smaller studios? These studios would probably end up shutting their doors, right? Or there'll be some massive consolidation of sorts where you might have like an EA, right? Hold all these. We know what happens. You go to EA, or Activision. Hold all these studios. Go ahead, OBM.
Oh no, sorry, you took a breath and then I jumped in. I feel like so rude.
No, not at all, man. Go ahead, dude. Go ahead.
All right. No, I was going to say, like, kind of build on what you were just saying, that like this market change, like, it's already been happening. Like, the way the consumers are, like, there's been change going in the market for the last 20 years, really. And if you look at it, like the top 20 games 20 years ago versus today, they're completely different, right? Like, now everything's dominated by a handful of like really safe choices. People stop taking chances on stuff. And like I was just saying, I discovered how cool indies were because of the Game Pass thing a couple years ago. And now I've bought, indies that don't launch into there because of it. So it really is an opportunity. It is like the market was already shifting whether Microsoft did this thing or not. It was just kind of a matter of who's going to get this, who's going to get the pole position in this. But I think that for gamers, like I guess I can't tell people not to have anxiety about it or be negative, because whenever things change, there is always winners and losers, and somebody might get more of the thing they like and somebody else might get less, depending on what that is that they prioritize. But I do think on the whole, it's really going to create opportunities for like, you look at the number of developers that have entered the industry just in the last generation. I was doing a thing for Xbox Era, and they had, I think on the 360 there was like 600 developers, including all the indies. Last generation there was 2,200 or more than that you can find separate on and they need other avenues to get exposure, because they're not going to get exposure over the Fortnites and the Call of Duties and the big Sony games. So I think this is really just creating an avenue for discovery that's really good for the industry. And I think that, if people would that's where I know, like, when people are taking a more, genuine, discussion of it is you have to at least acknowledge that stuff, because you can't look at the sales charts the last few years and go, yeah, I mean, everything's going great for all these other developers, because it hasn't been. Arcane, and Grubb said that when we were on a few weeks ago. He said Arcane would have been the first thing on that chopping block, and now this gives them a chance. Now Microsoft might be able to just give them some more money to polish up their games more, and people they're going to get the hype being a day one in Game Pass, and maybe now they do become somebody that 5 to 10 million people play their games. So, but that's all I got to say.
I just think overall Sarabon had the best explanation on what they're doing with Game Pass, that makes it so monetization isn't really a problem for them on that platform, by just talking about how, like she explained, how Netflix is like your transaction with them is your monthly subscription, and then it ends there because you don't buy anything on Netflix. Compared to Xbox Game Pass, you have extra franchises that you can jump into just because you played something on Game Pass, which I think is a very underrated part of what people don't really give Game Pass credit for. If they come out with the next Doom and you keep hearing all these good things about Doom, you might go back and play the original Doom, and it might really get you excited to play the next version of Doom. And I think those are all monetary things. And then there's always going to be people that just want to own their games, and they're going to want to say that this game is in my library and I own it. So they have the PC side of that to help supplement a lot of the purchasing of some of the games that they are missing out on the console side. But once they hit a certain point with Game Pass, it's going to be so many people buying so many different items through their service, not even counting the free-to-play stuff when it comes to Fortnite, how much money they make off that. Because you got to think, just because it's not in Game Pass, it's on Xbox. And if people are buying... if they're in Game Pass and they're subscribing, especially on the system side of it, Xbox gets a cut of all those people that play Warzone and play, everything else on the Xbox ecosystem. So all that goes into the funnel of revenue for Xbox too. And it's not just the money coming from Game Pass. It's just the simple fact that more people are playing in that ecosystem on the system or wherever they decide to play it, that's helping them monetize the whole platform in general. So, like I said, once again, I could care less what Microsoft is making on the back end, because they are giving us a deal of a lifetime. And I tell people to take advantage of that as long as they can. And but what's good for Xbox is what they're doing now. Like Slomo said, like I said for years, I like the fact that they are literally double downing on their core competency, which is services and ecosystem that all tie together to make Xbox more than just one piece of the puzzle. It's part of a whole ecosystem now that feeds off each other.
Yeah, that's a great point, Forte. I want to get these super chats real quick. Victor Alistine with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Victor. Says, exactly, no one will say to Sony if they bought GameFly and Redbox, don't sub because they're not making money. Now Pony's begging you not to sub to Game Pass. All right, that one confused me, but thank you for the super chat. Sadu.com with the $2.99 super chat. Thank you. Says Series S is holding back this gen. Damn it to hell.
Oh,
all right.
It could. I mean, I kind of get tired of that argument too. It's like,
well, I kind of know what he's referring to, but
yeah.
Real quick, guys, because before we wrap up, I do want to talk about one last thing. We have this Xbox or ID at Xbox event on Friday coming up. It's at noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, but noon Eastern time. And I don't know, Rand, should people temper their expectations? We know that there's going to be some brand new game announcements from Drinkbox and Curve Digital, Devolver Digital as well. What are your thoughts, man?
I mean, I think Xbox has set expectations accordingly. It's just an indie show.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if people are expecting Halo or Starfield or Fable, then that's their own fault.
A lot of it.
There was that Hades rumor,
false,
which has pissed me off that it's not going to be there. You know.
Yeah.
A lot of false criticisms are going to happen, of course, as they always do. Like, oh, how come we didn't see this, or where's this at? And I've seen it with State of Play. We're going to see it with this. People, regardless of what they tell you, is going to be there. People will be like, I don't care about any of this. I want to see. I want to see Halo Infinite, or I want to see where's my damn factions at. Sony, and it's just like, look, they're not going to show that yet. Like, you just this is what the show is, and that's that. You know, it's a bunch of indies games that you probably have never heard of from studios you've never heard of. If you like them, cool. If you don't, then you don't. But like being like, well, we're Starfield. This is not the E3
show. You should be looking at this show as an opportunity to see what's the next game on a smaller scale that you can play that's going to be going to Game Pass. That's what you should be looking at.
I'm looking for release dates for like 12 minutes.
Yeah,
the gun.
Finally, yeah.
I was really hoping that image with Hades was true because I want to play that game really bad. I know it's coming to Xbox at some point, which is why I didn't buy it to Switch, which I didn't buy it on Switch. So I was hoping it would be at this show, but I mean,
just double dip, sir.
Nah,
it's so good.
It's such a good game.
It's so good. Just double dip.
I don't even want to turn on my Switch though. So,
well, what?
Listen,
okay, we're not going to get into the Switch.
You can probably play it on your PC.
I could, but PC gaming is I don't.
Rand doesn't want to lose himself and go over to PC and realize that, oh my God, what have I been doing to myself?
No.
He's trying to keep himself pure. I understand that because that's
pure.
That's a real thing.
Like playing on PC is evil.
Listen, he is trying to.
Yeah,
stay
I don't really
pure.
like that analogy there, sir.
No, listen. He is trying to keep himself pure to the fact that all he plays is on
like,
Xbox.
What does that mean? It didn't sound any better that time.
Yeah.
No, listen. I don't care what y'all say. He trying to keep himself. He trying to keep himself cleansed.
Like, why do you?
What is
making this?
Is slow-mo dirty or something? Like, what's going on?
No, okay. You guys. You all make me sick.
Is it really
you guys?
Or is it you?
Yes, you guys. You and the guy with the BRAP in his name. You and him. You too. And one bad mother, he gonna make me sick too in a minute. The man, listen, he wants to stay cleansed because he feels like in his eyes, he hasn't touched the PC platform and he's all Xbox. He wants to just keep it that way.
I'm not all Xbox. I play in
PlayStation consoles.
See,
you don't want
all that talking.
He PlayStation and console. That's what I meant to say.
He has
PlayStation
dabbled in the dark side, Forte.
Did you dabble in this? Rand, did you dabble in the PC dark side at all?
I mean, I played a couple games on the PC.
Never mind. Then
I just
ran
don't,
over.
I just
you already got a taste of. You should just go ahead and play it over there.
I just don't care. I'd rather play it on console. That's all.
Red, you don't. Are you getting? Do you care? Do you want to get the achievements? Is that what it is? You said you don't care about achievements no more.
Well, no, I don't care about playing indie games. The whole meta for Xbox achievements now is you have to play these really bad indie games to get them. Because that's the whole thing, and I'm not interested in that.
And you got to pay for those really bad indie games.
Yeah, you
those really bad indie games don't show up in Game Pass for some reason.
If I knew Hades was never coming to Xbox or PlayStation, I would have played it and bought it on Switch.
Yeah,
but it's coming, so I'll just wait for it.
You say you waited this long, you'll wait a little longer.
Yeah, I'll wait.
What Rand is saying is that fishing for achievements isn't as high quality gaming as when he had to play Barbie back in the day.
Oh, you with the whole Barbie thing.
Listen, man.
The whole Barbie thing. Jesus, that's never. I'm never gonna get. We're never gonna live that down, huh?
No.
Oh, you played that Barbie horseback adventure? You got that 1K in that?
Yeah.
Can you tell us actually? Can you give us a review of that? I've never heard a review of that game.
No.
How long? How long was that game?
Too long. Too long.
What's the horse ride mechanics? Was the horse ride mechanics terrible?
He was dedicated to his craft.
Barbie chair was flowing in the wrong direction.
Oh my goodness!
I'll call myself the man with the million without some scars to show for it. You know what I
mean? Exactly. Right?
Tattoo.
Well said, Ray.
That's why he won't get on camera. Somebody would see his Barbie tattoo.
I do. The one thing I do miss when Rand went through his library one time where he's talking about like just all. I think he did that. What was like a 30-minute video about all the games in his library. He was just talking, and I was listening. He was like, "Yeah, and if you want to play, say it's a good game for achievements, but it's a bad game overall." And I'm listening to him talk about these games because it's like reminding me of when Maka does them, and I'm like, "You really play all these?" He'll say, "This game just isn't good, but it's a really good game for achievements." I'm like, "No," and then you got to pay for it. That's even worse.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
So you said, wait. Someone said what to say. So he said he got an idea of why bad games don't show up in Game Pass.
Go ahead, Slimo. Final word. Final word.
Maybe I misheard. I thought you were talking about like certain games not being on Game. I was thinking about PC. And why certain games don't show up in Game Pass on PC.
Oh, that we already know what that is.
The Microsoft Store is trash, and a lot of those games weren't intended to be in the Microsoft Store because PC Game Pass is tied to the Microsoft Store. So if you don't have that game available
Discord soon
on the Microsoft Store at all, then it's not going to be in Game Pass, which is the part of the reason why like Outriders, for example, likely isn't in the PC Game Pass. Is that it's not in the store. You can get it in Epic Game Store, you can get it on Steam, but you're not getting that on the Microsoft Store. And a lot of PC releases just skip it because the store did so poorly. People didn't buy stuff in it. Then it was like, what's the purpose of even putting the work in to get the game on that store in the first place? So there it is, really. I mean, like, look, Octopath Traveler hit Game Pass on PC, and it's also available in the Microsoft Store to be purchased.
Oh, I gotta download that too.
Tomorrow. Yeah, and I think that's also a good thing with, like, say, Square Enix, for example. They want people to play the game in the store. They got the money up front, but then they also want people to be like, hey, I like this game. I'm going to go buy this game. But if your game ain't in, like, buy it on what? if that's the problem, then you're not going to get people to do that. That's not a problem on the Xbox console because all those games are usually coming to Xbox.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, gentlemen, I just want to say great show as always. And I want to give a big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thank you all for coming out and hanging out with us tonight and listening to us talk about our escapades in the bedroom as it relates to Splinter Cell and Xbox Live.
Sam fishing.
Oh my God! Can you imagine the lights turn off? The little with his glasses come on, the little ting. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, baby, I got you. Ting.
We thought that was going to happen a lot of shows ago. It's like, it's going to happen. No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's another conversation. But now I want to give again big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Smash the like button if you haven't done so already. And if you do the show, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Rand, sir, always a pleasure having you on. Thank you again for coming on, BRAP, man. Good times.
Thanks for having me on. We didn't even talk about the Xbox getting rid of the party chat behind gold. That didn't even come up at all. That was
Xbox. Xbox. Not,
that was interesting.
Yeah, no party.
I didn't think they'd do that. That was pretty interesting. But yeah, thanks for having me on. It's always good talking to you guys. Finally meeting one bad mother. You need to start the Industry Insider YouTube channel. I'd subscribe.
I would too, actually. A lot of people would.
I mean,
Rand, all you would end up hearing is your videos. I just
okay.
basically, I just play back what Rand said. So what I learned from Rand today. So I don't know how invigorating that would be.
Yeah. Well, Rand, let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me at youtube.com/RandallThor19 if you want to check out some videos. Awesome.
And then OBM, always a pleasure, sir. My fellow Xbox Live brethren of 18 years.
That you met right after the Xbox Live beta, in case anybody never heard that before. But,
oh, my goodness.
But yeah,
not today.
Not today.
Oh man, thanks for inviting me. It was a lot of fun being on today's show. It's always great seeing all my BRAP friends, and also it's great finally being on a show with Randall Insider. And that
you guys is going to stick forever.
No, it won't. Forget about it.
He's gonna do a good job. He's gonna try to do a really good job over the next 2 days to distance himself from that.
Yeah, he is.
It's like, anyway, so by the way, if I ended up speaking over anybody today, I'm just going to blame that on my internet. So I do apologize. Aside from that, you guys could find me on Twitter at _mother_1, or I am a contributor or part of the staff over at Xbox Era. I'll be doing some content over there. We also have a Halo show that's bi-weekly, so look for that. That's called You Had Me at Halo, which, by the way, Rand, we need to try to get you on that. I know Halo is one of your games, but maybe
Halo is my game.
Yeah,
and that's my favorite franchise.
So we'll have to try to maybe leading up to E3 or something. We'll have to get you
Indeed.
on.
Let's do it.
Awesome, man.
I've been podcasting with you for so many times, and yet I have yet to get a single invite to this. I like Halo too. Matter of fact, I read all too.
I want to have a Spartan
even
after
the ones that suck. I read those books too. Okay.
All right, we got to get everybody. No, just to be candid, we've only had our show going for 6 months, and it's still working some stuff out. We did
longer than our show's been going on.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, we literally just passed half a year.
Okay. Yeah, we tried having one guest so far. We had Late Night Gaming on a couple weeks ago, and that was our first ever guest. So we're still trying to figure out.
You make it seem like it was a tragedy or something.
No. It was
what?
What?
A tragedy.
No. I don't think that's what you said, Forte.
I don't know what that word
clearly
is.
Not what you said.
Listen, it definitely wasn't what I said. So whatever, just move on.
You said a tragedy.
I did say tragedy at first. It was a tragedy.
My goodness.
Let OBM do his outro. Go ahead, OBM.
we gotta let Enrique go. He's got 4 kids waiting for him.
I gotta get up early.
Yeah,
you always gotta get up early.
Yes, I got 4 kids, 6 chickens, 2 rabbits, 3 rabbits, and 2 dogs.
And a turtle in a bear tree.
But yeah, as we do the guest thing, hey, any of you guys that are interested, that'd be great to have you on. So I'll just end it there, and appreciate y'all. Hope y'all have a great night.
Thank you, OBM. And on that note, we got the man of many backslaps. So what's up, Slubbo? Let everyone know they can find you, sir.
Yo, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Slow Mo Backslap. I dropped a video today talking about the rumored Nintendo Switch Pro. It clearly won't have that name. Nintendo's probably going to call it like the Nintendo Dolphin or some shit like that. Or
actually, that was
Super Nintendo, Super Nintendo Switch or Switch
that
Super,
was,
whatever.
Dolphin was actually a real thing. It was a dev kit.
I know. Yeah, it was. That's what I was thinking about when I said it. But check that video out. Check my channel out if you like the content. Definitely subscribe. And great show, guys. And you guys have a great night.
Yeah, and last but not least, Gaby Forte.
Yo, once again, sorry that I was late. And
you would do it. It's all good, man.
Yeah.
You got to make it up to wifey though.
It's been a crazy week. But truly appreciate everybody coming through. Great show. Great conversations for the parts I was here for. Rand, thanks for coming through. As always, man, it's been so long to have you over here. One bad, you're like part of the podcasting team at this point. So I expect to see you here twice a month. Outside of that, it's Gaming Forte on YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation. check out DPS Podcast episode 27 tomorrow, where we're going to be.
He remembered the number.
Yep, episode 20. Yeah, we got to get professional out here, Slow-Mo. I can't just be like, because sometimes I just throw it out there. It's like, oh, what episode is this, Slow-Mo? Even though I know, but we just got to just,
So wait, it's 27 for DPS. BRAP, what are you on?
I don't know. I stopped counting, man. Like over 200.
you don't even have a playlist where you can just look at see how much in the playlist and see what number it is.
I'd have to go look, but I don't know.
I haven't made a playlist for BRAP. I mean,
oh Lord, this is part of the problem.
Let me tell you something. If somebody wants to look,
do not mention your kids.
I got
23 kids and I don't have time.
4 kids.
If someone
listen, you want to give me permissions to your YouTube channel, I'll fix all that.
If somebody wants to do that for me, I'd be more than happy because I don't have time to do it.
Give me permissions to your YouTube channel.
4 kids.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah, you gotta hide behind the kids. Everyone, he did that when it came to saying I was gonna buy an Xbox for my kids, and it ended up being for him. He uses those kids for everything.
No, the kids they play on the Series X. My son's playing Forza Horizon 4 right now.
That's just because you're not playing it right now. But
I was just wondering because last week was the 4-year anniversary of the Xbox 2, and I know your show's been going on longer than our show, so.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you, Rand. It's. I stopped counting.
You don't even know when the first episode of BRAP was. You don't even know like the anniversary date.
It was actually it was just recently, but I can't remember off the top of my head. It was 2015.
Oh, so 6 years.
So
we've been
6 years.
Yeah.
6 years. Well, he probably missed about 2 or 3 weeks a year inside.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you who some of the former panel members were, but I can't. Yeah, we had Lemieux 66, who's going to be on April 28th. Lemieux's actually an Xbox Live beta tester from my beta days. Had to throw that in there.
Xbox Live beta testers are welcome.
Yeah, we had the drunk cat Alcoholicos. He was actually a panel member.
He was on not too long ago.
Mr. Megative was a panel member, and those were the panel members that we had.
All right. Well, let me finish this. So, like I said, check out DPS Podcast tomorrow, 9 p.m. with me, Slow-Mo Backslap, and our special guest Leviathan Gamer number 2.
That's a good show.
It's gonna be great talking about Halo, talking about Slip Space, talking about Discord, talk about a whole. Actually, we are going to be bringing. So, Rand, if you want to know more and you want to comment in the comment section about this whole situation about Xbox and party chat and free to play that's coming up, you check that out tomorrow. We're talking about it on there.
Which channel is it on? If it's on yours, I won't be there. If it's on Slow-Mo's, I'll be there.
Okay, well, we're gonna have it. We need to have it on Slow-Mo's channel tomorrow. Slow-Mo is on your channel now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's get Slow-Mo to 1,000 subs.
Yeah, we want him to play Bugsnax.
Bugsnax. Forte started.
Have you played it yet, Rand?
Hell no, I ain't playing Bugsnax.
What is y'all?
I heard it's good.
Y'all think y'all gonna get a rash or something for playing
Pokemon? I ain't playing Pokemon.
You used to like Pokemon.
Oh, I hate Pokemon. But I'm glad Slow-Mo's gonna play it. 1,000 subs, big milestone. It's a good way to celebrate playing Bugsnax. Yeah. And watch, he's gonna love it.
I don't know about that one.
He might love it. He's gonna platinum it.
Enrique, you gotta stop saying
1,000.
that. The more you say, people start actually thinking, "I'm really going to platinum this game."
Well, we said if we get you to 1,500,
I'm pretty sure I'm not.
Well, we did say if you get the 1,500 subs, you would platinum it.
I did not say that.
We did say that.
I think we said that, but he never agreed to that.
Hey, thank you.
No, see, whoa. See, you supposed to play mind games with Slow-Mo and let him argue with himself, but you just ruined that because you just gave it up.
Forte, Slow-Mo doesn't play mind games. Like you say stuff to him and he just kind of like brushes you off.
No. Who cares?
Like all the time.
No, look, he can brush. There's no mind games here, man. Listen, Forte is
he really he's I'm in Slow-Mo's head. I'm just like.
He swears he's trolling you.
Wait. We ain't gonna act like when Slow-Mo starts cussing at people, getting mad at people. That Slow-Mo and his feelings.
Like you
written space in Slow-Mo's head for free.
Okay, all right. So look, if you guys want more of this, please turn into DPS tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard on Forte's channel tomorrow night. So.
Leviathan's on Slow-Mo's channel because we got to have Rand come through.
Okay, yeah, Leviathan's a great guest. Had him on a couple weeks ago. super smart. It's very insightful.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great show tomorrow.
It's gonna be a great show. Yeah, and yeah, if you want to give me a follow on the Twitters, BRAP_podcast. And yeah, we're gonna have. You definitely want to tune in next Wednesday, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We're gonna have a big industry guest on, someone who hasn't been on BRAP a couple years. Super excited.
I know who it is. If you want to know, let me stop.
Go to DPS tomorrow?
go to DPS podcast tomorrow. I will reveal who this big industry guest is. I'm not. I'm actually not going to do that.
Yeah, no, we're excited to have him back on. So, anyhow, on that note, we're out. Everyone, have a great evening. Go play some video games, have fun, and don't worry about how much money Microsoft's making. On that note, we're out.